Microphone. Hello, hello, hello. Forgot to turn the microphone on. Hey everyone, it's Fox from modelmaking.guru here. Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome. It is Sunday. That means it is time for the Warhammer Sundays. It's quite warm in here today, so we'll see how long we last. I'm a bit moist in all the wrong places for all the wrong reasons. It's a bit warm. It's rather nice outside. But yes, welcome, welcome. I'm just adjusting my cutting mat here. It is Sunday. It is Warhammer Sunday. It's the time of week in which I traditionally work on my Warhammer army, the unending forces of the Holy Contrivance. But not for the last few months, because I'm catching up with Warhammer Conquest. I'm supposed to be painting all the Warhammer Conquest stuff, but I haven't had time. So what I'm doing over weekend is just getting everything built, trying to catch up, getting everything built, and then when later in the year I can get round to just painting everything. So, now it's very, very warm. I don't know why, because it wasn't very warm a minute ago. My moustache is catching sweat like a sweatband, which is great if it was on the other side of my head, the top of my head, not the bottom of my head. So we'll see how far we get today. But welcome, welcome. If you've not seen one of these before, basically I will sit and talk at you for 3 hours and probably do very little work. But you guys will basically hang out in the chat with each other and have a jolly good time. This is, as we say on the E-Model show, this is your show. It's just about you guys hanging out with each other and having fun. I'm just background noise, basically. I'm just the ambience for this little get together. Now, if you've never seen one of these before, as always, hello, get back in there, you. I depend on you guys to give me stuff to talk about. I basically spend the next 3 hours just talking to you guys in chat. So I have the chat here in front of me on an iPad here. If you want to join in the live chat, please do, because we'll be doing sticker giveaways and stuff later on. It's totally fun. Everybody in chat is totally awesome, so do come and join in. You can see, obviously, the chat here, but that's static. If you want to join in the actual live typey chat, you need to be on the YouTube page. So make sure you click on the YouTube icon that's down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the video player somewhere, and you'll be able to go to the live chat. If you're watching this embedded on the Patreon page or Facebook or something, you won't see the live chat. So make sure you do come and join in. It is awesome, awesome fun. Now, as always, if you are in the chat and you want to ask me questions, I've got my iPad here. I might miss you though, because I'm busy doing stuff down here. I might miss your things. So make sure you put it in big fat capital letters. If you want to, you can do a super chat, which is the little dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. That puts your comment in a coloured box and also puts a little animated thing up here and makes a noise. And I get to see it and hear it. Or if you want to, you can just pop me an email. My email address is always on screen. It's fox@modelmakingguru.com. I've got my email open, but I might not necessarily get that straight away. So put it in capital letters or do a super chat. As always, we've got Stream Boss Battle going on. Yes, current stream boss is not me. It says me, but it's not. It's Simon Reynolds, or Kevin, our Lord and Master, as we like to call him. He's in chat as Kevin. He is the current stream boss. He beat Aviad Madar for stream boss status. If you don't know what stream boss is, basically it's an ongoing game where you guys get to knock his or her health down, in this case his health down to 0. Whoever gets his health to 0 becomes the new stream boss and wins a massive budget to buy stuff from Games Workshop, Forge World, or if you're in the UK or EU, Goblin Gaming. Basically, the way to get his health down is to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell if you're not already subscribed. If you are, then you can do a tip through the tip jar, which is streamlabs.com/modelmakingguru. It's here on the screen. Or you can do a super chat. Every time you do a super chat or a tip, it takes a little bit of Kevin's health off. The more you put through as a super chat or a tip, it takes more of his health off. And if you become stream boss, you win all the money raised through the tips and through the super chats. Now, when Kevin won, it was 499 quid. So basically I said to him, you now have £499. Tell me what you want to order from Games Workshop. And I ordered it and it turned up on his doorstep. So that's how it works. You win the pot, basically. I have extended it lately, so you can buy it from Games Workshop or Forge World if you're anywhere in the world. Or if you're in the EU or UK, I'll start that again. If you're in the UK or EU, anywhere like that, you can order from Goblin Gaming. And don't forget, of course, this channel is supported by Goblin Gaming. There is a link in the description below this video for Goblin Gaming. It's my affiliate link. You save up to 20% off massive chunks of their stock. All the Warhammer stuff is 20% off RRP, and I make a little bit of income from that. So there you go. I am sweating like cobs. Oh, let me just get my fanning device. Oh. Now, yes, today we are going to be carrying on with the Space Marine officers that I've been in for the last 2 weeks and getting nowhere. I'm just trying to cool myself off. It's very warm and I forgot to turn the fan on, and that was a bad move. So I shall have a quick look at chat and see who is in, first of all, before we get going. So welcome, everybody. If this is your first Warhammer Sunday, welcome to 3 hours of nonsense. Now, I know Pascal was the first person in because he put a comment in before I'd even set the stream up. So I know Pascal was first, but I can't go that far back in the chat. I've got the chat here, just so you can see my iPad's there. We have Chris at Gross Models is in, and Maud Dracker, welcome to both of you. Pascal is in, of course. He's just bought some wood for extending his hobby zone. Cool. And he's just got himself some strawberry Fanta. I don't know how I feel about that, because Fanta's orange, and it needs to be orange, and if it's not orange, where's Guthorn, by the way? There's Guthorn. If it's not orange, that's not normal. I'll put Guthorn there, so you know, you can't even see. I've moved my camera, you see, and it's in all the wrong places now. Well, Guthorn's there. He's there. Yeah, Fanta should be orange. Don't know about that. Kev Reynolds is in. Si Reynolds even. Never fear, for Kevin is here, he says. We have... who else is in? Just Django is in. Hello, Just Django. Candygram for Mongo, greetings all. Cogboy is in. Welcome, Cogboy. I think we've had you in chat before, haven't we? I think you've been in chat before. If not, welcome. Chris says, what do we think Fox will be doing today? I'll be carrying on with them dudes. I imagine preparing a single Space Marine whilst wearing a mankini and driving King Barry's tea. I am drinking indeed Barry's tea. Finest tea in the land. Finest tea in all the realms. Look at the muscularity. Shout out to the Bardic Broadcasts. Like and subscribe to his channel. Mordraka says, yes, there's no mankini involved. That's been sealed in a container and blasted into space. And it's currently orbiting somewhere. I don't know where. Somebody else can suffer that. Mordraka says, more stability as he cleans up the spec officers. See, Mordraka remembered I was making the officers. More of the same, nothing productive whilst talking most of the time, I think, says Just Django. Ka-ching, spot on. Let's have a look. Richard Gibbs is in. Welcome, Richard. Ateros, afternoon all. Long time no see. Ateros has been away for a little while, away from us. He is back now, he or she. Of course, could be either. I do know. I like the mystery. But Ateros is back. So welcome back, my friend. He did send me an email the other day saying, hi, you asked me my address for some stickers like about 100 years ago. I forgot. I've been tied up and busy, and here's my address. So I've got that. Thanks for that, dude. Chris at Gross Models is sore and tired but alright, but I don't know why, and nobody actually pushes him to find out. So why are you sore and tired, if you can say such things? Ghost Lyle is in. Hello, says Ghost Lyle. Welcome, Ghost Lyle. Who else have we got? Let's have Andy McLeish. Somebody mentions Jar Jar Binks, and Andy McLeish goes, yeah, that's usually my response to Jar Jar Binks. My voice is a bit throaty today, so I do apologise. We have Wayne Haywood. Welcome, Wayne. Nim is in. Welcome, Nim. Are you awake? Have you had your beverage, your morning beverage? Nim says, I, and then about half an hour later says, I'm here. So I guess she hasn't had a morning beverage yet. Who else have we got to come in? Red Len 08 is in. And, of course, Skullfish has entered the room. Daniel Rigby, I've decided to get back into the hobby. Last time I played was when Man O' War came out. Any suggestions on how to start looking to get painting rather than play at the moment? Welcome, Daniel, by the way. And Andy McLeish answers straight away, grab a starter pack or something. Yes, absolutely. I would say, if you haven't played in a long time and you just want to get back into the models for right now, just go into your local gaming store, your local Warhammer store, or wherever you normally get stuff, and just look at what's on offer. And same as I do with when I started doing Gunpla, just look at them all and go, I don't know what any of these are, but that one looks cool. I want that one, and I'll just buy that and build it. I started out just doing builds and paints because I love the models. And it's got to the point now where at some point I will play my first game at some point because I got the itch from building the models. So yeah, just go into the store or go to wherever you get your stuff from and just have a look and see. But starter packs are good because it does give you a big chunk of models and sometimes a vehicle as well. And it does mean then you've got enough dudes and dudettes and vehicles and things to actually have a game with. So if you are going to be doing the gaming, eventually a starter pack's a good way to save a bit of money and have enough to then play on the table. So have a look and see. You know, start what they call the start collecting boxes. Frankie Goes to Hollywood is in. Welcome, Frankie. Jordan Capuano, any thoughts on the new Primaris stuff? I haven't seen it yet. I've seen it very, very briefly. I don't like the helmets. Don't like the helmets on these new Space Marines. Although, are they supposed to be old-style Space Marine? I only had a real quick glance at the trailer yesterday. They had Space Marines, but they had old-style helmets, and I'm like, but modernised old-style helmets. They weren't Primaris helmets. They were, I don't know, they were kind of half and half. So I think maybe they're revamped old ones, or are they supposed to be Primaris? I don't know. But I like the Primaris helmets. I don't like these new ones. I've only had I don't really know. I've only had a really, really, really quick look. Make sure you do the super chat when Fox does not have a knife in his hand, or Fox will get stabbed at it. Yeah, I get all excited with sudden noises and stab. Simon Reynolds, simple Daniel Rigby. Browse the website, find some models you like, look of, and then buy them, get modelling, and enjoy. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Always the best thing to do is just look at something, and as soon as you go, oh, that looks cool, there you go, that's what you need to buy. Knife of the openings, boing, says Andy McLeish. Just for you. We ready? 3, 2, 1. Boing! Oh, that's as good as you get. There you go. That's as much as you get. It's not a mailbag video. Can't have everything. Let's have a look. Watch YouTube videos, I guess. Messing up is part of the process. Daniel Rigby says, I haven't ever painted miniatures, so this will be a first. What's best value to avoid spending too much and messing up? Don't worry. Go for whatever Warhammer models you want, or Warhammer Age of Sigmar or Warhammer 40k. Go for whichever ones you fancy. Paint them up. If you think they've come out like ass, get yourself some brown Dettol in a jug. Put the models in there. 12 hours later, give them a scrub with the toothbrush. They'll be bare plastic. You can paint them all again. Doesn't matter. So go for, if you want to be able to do that, maybe try out some figures or simple vehicles, because vehicles often you have to build in sub-assemblies, whereas a lot of figures, like Space Marines or whatever you build, a lot of figures you can just leave them in the Dettol, pull them out and start from scratch, because you build them all in advance anyway. So don't worry too much about that, because Dettol will take all your paint problems away. Frankie Goes Hobbywood says, Fox, I hope you and Mama Fox are not in trouble with the River Goit. Yeah, there's the dam in Whaley Bridge is potentially going to burst. There's a dam and there's a reservoir behind it. Thankfully, it's like 1 trillion miles away from where I am. It's off to the east, east. It's up in Derbyshire, so it's a good long way away. It's nowhere near me at all. Thankfully, we've had a lot of slappy rain, but we've not had any flooding here, so we'll be okay. But thank you for that, dude. Myself and Mama Fox, thank you greatly. Let's have a look. This chat is jumping. Oh yeah, Dad. By the way, Dad, if you're wondering where Dad is, Chris, obviously at Gross Models, is one of your mods today. If you're wondering where Dad is, Dad, who is a lovely, lovely, lovely fella, but he'll break you in half if you cross him. He's actually tied up today. He's I don't know what he's doing. He might be out and about today, so he said he might be able to pop in, but he doesn't think so. Let's have a look. I can't see what chat is doing. Oh yes, Dad didn't make it in today. Bench and belly, says Chris at Gross Model. I'm going to change my glasses so I can see. Yes, bench and belly. It's that question that I always ask on my live streams, or a live stream that I'm in. What is on your bench and what is in your belly? There's the centre point, Fox. Keep an eye on that. What's on your bench and what's in your belly? So what have you had for your dinner, or what are you going to have for your dinner? And what you're working on right now, if anything. What's your current project? I have an old Atari computer, says Pascal, that's all yellow and has a lot of broken pieces. Should I fix all the cracks and broken pieces and paint it white, or keep it as it is? Go to a channel called The 8-Bit Guy, 8-bit Guy. It's a YouTube channel called The 8-Bit Guy, and he actually purely deals with old technology like that, and he restores them. So go and watch some of his videos. He's got loads of stuff of Ataris, of desktops, of Commodores and all that kind of stuff. He has a process called retrobrighting, where he he takes them all apart, he gets the plastic case parts and he puts them in a bowl, in a thing with water and some hydroxide or peroxide or something, and he basically restores them back to mint showroom condition. So go and subscribe and watch his stuff, The 8-Bit Guy. Awesome channel, and he'll tell you everything you need to know. Daniel Rigby says, guess I'm Dettol shopping too then. Does Dettol work on all plastics, says Wayne Haywood. Yep. It's basically just alcohol-based stuff, and it strips the paint. It even takes the primer off. The only thing with Dettol is what you don't want to do is get Dettol and water combined. If you say I've put this guy in Dettol for 24 hours, I leave him in the bowl. What you don't do is pull him out of the Dettol and run it under the tap, because that is sadness. That makes the paint go and it goes all horrible. What you do is get him in the Dettol, leave him. It doesn't have to be 24 hours. Sometimes it can be quite, depends on the paint. But like Games Workshop paints, Citadel paints, maybe 24 hours. Pull him out, he'll still have gloop all over him. Get an old toothbrush, gently scrub it all off. It'll all come away. Keep rinsing him in the Dettol. Keep scrubbing him. And when you've got most of it off, just leave him to dry for a while. Then, once you've got most of it off, you actually don't leave him to dry. Get most of the paint off. Once you've got most of the paint off and there's nothing really left, then you can run it under the tap just to rinse it off. Don't run it off when there's still paint on there, because it will make the paint go all gloopy. So that's the lesson that we've all learned using Dettol. But it's just kind of one of the cheapest ways to strip paint. You can get proper paint strippers and things like that. You can get like Oven Pride. Oven Cleaner is quite good, but it's horribly toxic and it's a single use. Dettol, you can strip all the paint off, pour it through a filter, like a tea strainer or just a bit of filter paper, and you can put it back in the bottle and use it again. Some people use brake fluid. Don't do that. It's horribly toxic and you're not allowed to legally pour it down the drain. So yeah, Dettol costs you £3 a bottle from Tesco. It's great if you're in the UK. Skullfish says wire brush and Dettol. I wouldn't use a wire brush. Maybe just an old toothbrush is fine. Let's have a look. Pascal Lever says also bench some wood, because he's working on his hobby zone stuff. Belly going to have barbecue tonight. Very nice. Spiddy Q8, welcome Spid, says woohoo, tied up, lucky fella about dad being elsewhere. Cogboy says alternatively you can use methylated spirits to remove the paint. Do not use white spirits. Yeah, some plastics will fall apart with white spirits. Methylated spirits you can use. They're just a bit more stinky than Dettol. Smells a bit nicer than meths. So you can use meths. It's just strong alcohol basically, but your mileage may vary. I like the smell of Dettol, but I hate the smell of meths. And the good thing is if you spill Dettol, then whatever you spill it on, it gets cleaned. If you smell meths, yeah, you might do some damage to your carpet. Let's have it. Look, we have more Draco09 is working on the bench. He has a galvanic servo hauler kit. Awesome. That's the cranes and stuff, isn't it? I like that. I get that in my Warhammer Conquest, which is this stuff eventually. Belly is coffee. Good choice. I must have a swig of tea. Just Django is working on his Master Grade 3.0 Gundam on the bench. Is that the RX-78-2? And an all-nighter and sandwich in Belly. Candyman from Mongo says, bench, I have to visit the stash and pick out a new Bandai Star Wars model to start. Yay! That's cool. I choose definitely the best one. Nim says, on the bench, metal dice being blessed for D&D. Oh, sorry, D&D. Dungeons and Dragons. Along with working on a mini using Hero Forge. Cool. I've got a couple of designs I put into Hero Forge. Chris sent me a 3D print of one of them the other week, but I will at some point have to just order them. Belly microwave beef and bean burritos. I had my first burrito. Yes, I told you last week, I think. I've now had my first ever burrito. It was nice, but it definitely wasn't worth £13. Pascal says, yeah, I know how to get them white without painting, but the problem is that I need to use some model putty and fillers because it's in a really bad shape. Don't know about cracks in that case. I'm not sure. You want something more durable than model putty. If it's going to be a computer case, because it needs to withstand heat and everything else, you're probably looking at something a bit more durable. But I don't know. Lynn is in. Heidi Fox, Heidi y'all. I see I almost forgot the show. This is what happens when I work on the weekends, but you're actually with us, so good. There you go. Can you use gin, says Gross Models. You definitely can use gin for everything. Biostrip 20 doesn't smell and works in 10 minutes, says Kevin Reynolds, or Cy Reynolds. I've no idea what Biostrip 20 is, but if it works in 10 minutes, that sounds pretty good. Matt Bradford is bench. Blake 7 Liberator. Belly undecided as yet. Belly says Aidan Jones doesn't know yet. And bench just finished his Stegodon. Yes. I may have to get some Stegodon-y type stuff. And some of the what are they called? Skinks or something? I know it's an Age of Sigmar thing, but the little tiny dinosaur dudes. Watching whilst doing the household job, says Clarky. Welcome, Clarky. Ateras says £13. Yeah, it was £13, and I got a burrito. I got a burrito about that big, and I got a little bag of nacho chips and a little pot of salsa. That was it. 13 quid. Yeah. It was a 2-meat burrito. It was nice. The burrito was nice. It was just like I would have expected maybe 2, but never mind. Oh wait, no, Hero Quest. The best thing about Hero Forge. The best thing about Hero Forge. Almost spit. Almost. Hero Forge is the finest 3D design and print your own figure thing in all the realms. There's nothing on my bench, says Frank. It goes to Hobbywood, but chicken tikka masala in my belly. Yes. I had, just before we went live, about 1 o'clock, my neighbour next door sent me a text saying, hey, I've made some chicken curry. Do you want some? I'm like, oh, do I? So I ran downstairs and had a big bowl of really nice proper chicken curry. So that was a bad move on a hot day right before I was doing a live stream, but never mind. Wayne Haywood is working on some Legion Stormtroopers, and in the belly is choc chip digestives. Ooh, sounds interesting. Why not just chocolate digestives? Why not have all the chocolate? So that's the chat up to date. So welcome one and all. Welcome one and all. If you are watching and you actually can see the chat, if you've got access to the typey chat and you're not joining in, do feel free. They're a friendly bunch. Like I say, we'll be giving some stickers away. So one way I find to tempt people out of just lurking in the chat, is just to ask where everybody is from. Most of you already know because you're regular, but if you're in the chat and you don't normally join in, tell us where you're from. I'm obviously in Cheshire, so there you go. Let's start the thing. Simon Reynolds says, I don't think you saw the earlier chat, Fox, but I brought you some bacon and maple fudge back from Cornwall to send me those rattle cans. I did see the chat and I meant to mention that because I've just run out of maple syrup, but bacon and maple fudge. Yes, that sounds fantastic. It's fudge, it's bacon, and it's maple. It's like 3 of the best things in the world. I will quite happily apply that to my entire face. And I forgot you were sending me some rattle cans, so thanks for that, dude. I will look forward to that. Skullfish says, Bench, 3 to me a paint racks from EBMA, belly fudge from the Lake District, holiday prezi from my daughter. Yay. Daniel Rigby is in Suffolk. Nim is in Cheektowaga. I hope I pronounced that right. Cheektowaga. That's going to be like the Midwest somewhere, isn't it? I bet. Somewhere. I can't remember where you are, Nim. Remind me. Or it's going to be somewhere in California or somewhere like the Rockies. Remind me. I don't know. I can't remember. Wolverhampton is Aidan Jones. Aidan Jones. James Pissall, morning all. Matt Bradford is in Ballynahinch in County Down. Gross Model says London in it. Oh my God, you did. Oh my God, I did. I did what? I did get it. What is it? Midwest or California somewhere? Oh, Cheektowaga. I don't know which one's right. Let's have a look. Cogboy is in Cheshire as well. Nim Cinderin is in... Oh, it's in New York. Cheektowaga. It sounds more like... I don't know, it sounds more like a Boston type place. I'm thinking Fallout 4 now, obviously, but never mind. It doesn't sound very New York. New Mexico Carlsbad is Lynn, of course. Clydebank, just outside Glasgow. It's Skullfish. It's not Skullfish, it's Skullfish. Right. Well, I'll have to remember that then, won't I? My dad was from Glasgow. Wayne Haywood is Stourbridge, West Midlands. Dashabs, welcome Dashabs. See, I told you it gets the lurkers out, you see. Is in Quebec City in Canada. Hang on. It's required. There we go. Got to do it. Dashabs is in Quebec City in Canada, eating breakfast and about to play Warcry. Ooh, yes, that's the new goodness, isn't it? Let me just put this flag back now because I've put it down. I can't get it back. Hang on. Technical things. Oh, I had to put it all the way over there, didn't I? Told you, gets the lurkers out. Osric's in. Hello, all bench. 11700 scale ships. Belly, pigs in blankets. Bap. That's how you know Osric's a northern person. Spid says the northerly north, norther than Yorkshire, which was north when I was there, but not as north as Scott. Yes, Europe in Scotland land. I thought you were from Otogunga, Jarge, Fox. What? Shut up. Mordraka, Rockhampton, Queensland, Australia. G'day, bro. I didn't realise you're an Australian. G'day, bro. Candyman from Mongo is Dallas, Texas. Burritos are very good and expensive here. Yeah, they're just stupidly. They're Ponzi over here, so they cost a lot of money. Anything Ponzi is expensive. It's an old Native American name, model making, says Nim. Yes, I got that. Cheektowaga. Yes, I got the Native American gist to it, but I kind of guessed that would be... Because you get those places, they're more like rural or like Boston type. I'm quite impressed. Washington area, that kind of stuff. I didn't realise that was New York as well. Cool. James Purcell says, Alabama, sir. Awesome, but you don't need to call me sir. Speard has been playing with drones and have a small amount of aerial footage to sort up load. Okay, of his village. Daniel Hulse is in St Albans in Hertfordshire. Welcome. Redline 08 is in Chatham in Kent. Oh, it's Chatham, innit? No, that's not the wrong accent. What's Chatham? It's Kent. I can't think of a Kent accent. I've just got to get some of the litres of sweat out of my beard. Hang on. Downside of face furniture. Right, so. Told you, it gets the lurkers out. Ask you where you're all from. Right. Anyway, enough nonsense. I shall do some work. So what am I working on today? Well, if you remember, I'm working on Conquest. And I am still working on issue 29, which is Space Marine Officers. Now, like I said, what I'm doing with these is, my plan was originally that I would be basically each month painting up the models from the Warhammer Conquest part work. Some of them painted up professionally, properly, and some of them just painted up following the magazine. However, other things have taken precedent, and that's been sort of put on the back burner for a little bit. But I need to get them all built and done out of the way, because I don't need to show everybody how to make them each episode, because that's just nonsense. I just need to show painting them. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my Sundays just to get things built. So instead of having lots of packages stacked up in the front bedroom, I can have a lot of the models built and on a shelf, or built and in a box, and it takes up a lot less space if they're all built. So I'm just going ahead and going through the backlog and getting things built. Interzone 88 is in Melbourne, Australia. G'day. Yep. That's another one of our regular Australians. G'day. So at the moment I'm working on the Space Marine Capitan. Lynn Dipple says, go Stars to Candygram. Not that my brother ever watches this, but I say go Dragons. Collierville Dragons. My niece's former school football team. The Collierville Dragons. Go Dragons. I've got a hoodie somewhere. Or I had a hoodie. A Collierville Dragons hoodie that doesn't fit me now, so Mama Fox wears it. And a t-shirt that sadly, creeping age, no longer fits me either. Yeah. So I need to get some tools. So yeah, go Dragons. So I can't remember how far I got with denubbing and cleaning up all these parts. Probably not very far, but we're working on. There's the centre of the screen, Fox. Do it there. There we go. There's the centre. I'm going to put this here so you can see it. You can see Guthorm at least. Space Hamster ZH. Hey guys, what did I miss? You've missed all the pre-waffle, but I've only just started doing work, so you've not really missed anything. Don't panic, but welcome. I'm going to have to move that because I'll knock Guthorm over every time I get a swig of tea. So how far did we get? Well, I tidied up this puppy. This is his cloak and goodness. This was cleaned and denubbed, and if I stab myself on those spiky bits once more, I will say a rude word. Don't forget, of course, this show it's my show. It's nothing to do with e-models. So I don't really care if you use big grown-up rude words in chat. You can use as many rude words as you like in chat, because you're all grown-ups. I'm asking you all to put money into things like tips and Streamlabs and stuff, and super chats. So you're all grown-ups. Feel free to use rude words and swears. I won't necessarily read them out because it's monetized, but you can use big grown-up words if you want. Right, so that was cleaned up. We have an leg, which it looks like I cleaned up. And leg. That one I haven't done. That bit I haven't done. Backpack, of course I haven't done the backpack, the most fiddly bit. Arm has not been cleaned up. Okay, so they haven't been done yet. So I've basically done a bit of a leg and his cloak. Okay. Lynn says, hi Guthorm. Yeah, thanks to Scott for that. So we're still on clean-up duty. I'll just put that there. So this is the Space Marines Primaris, Primani, Primula Spread Cheese Captain, which has been half cleaned. Oh, this has been cleaned up. Okay. So I don't need to clean that up then. Bonus. Hoorah, that bit's been done. Woohoo! Now I'm going to have to build this guy in a sub-assembly because By the way, I know it's like coming up to half an hour into the chat, but I hope you can see and hear me okay. I hope everything's okay on the audio and the video. It's a bit late for me to ask that, really, but there you go. So next we have to clean up the heady bonds. Brilliant. I said heady bonds, and then my brain decided to ping the brain cell that's responsible for storing the memory of Mr. Nosy Bonk. And now I've got the Mr. Nosy Bonk music in my head. You kind of have to be British and remember 1980s children's TV. But, yeah, I've now got the Mr. Nosy Bonk music in my head. And I've got to tell you, Mr. Nosy Bonk, that was some messed up stuff. That was some seriously messed up shizzle. The guy that used to play Mr. Nosy Bonk, don't ask me how I know this. I've got some crap on the end of my blade there. So let's just get a new blade. The guy that used to play Mr. Nosy Bonk is still around. He's not that old, and he's still doing stuff. And in his Twitter feed, he still makes mention of it every now and then. But yeah, I've got Mr. Nosy Bonk music in my head now. So thanks, Obama. I can't really sing it because it's copyright and all that. So yeah. Nim says, and the figure has been ordered, instant joyous regret. Yay. Speedy Curate says, you always tell us this, but we're far too immature to say things like, inserts rude word, into live chat. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't say that rude word there. Would have just cheapened the brand, wouldn't it? Yes, I love these things. I've got about 6 of these, but I actually had to realise the other day. I don't know what that means. I've got about 5 or 6 of these. And I can't remember where I put all the others. I've got a load of them, and it's really brilliant. And I put them somewhere. I can't remember where. It's going to take a while to get filled up, but yeah. Space Hamster says, I just googled Mr. Nosy Bonk. The funny thing is, you got the spelling right. And after seeing the pictures, I don't want even to hear the music. Oh, the music's not scary. It's just it will get in your brain instantly. It really will break you. Yeah. I can't remember. Was Mr. Nosy Bonk? Was that words and pictures? No, it was Jigsaw. The program was called Jigsaw. There we go. Jigsaw. That had Jig. Was the character. Yeah, I remember that now. Jigsaw, that's it. Mr. Nosy Bonk. Incoming Stabberty says, Kevin, no. Ha 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 ha. Denied. My good friend. I'm just trying to realise, I've just looked up where I got the blade thing from, and I've got that. It's a bottle of ultramarine blue contrast that's not, because it's snakebite brown. And I'm wondering why I put it on the top, but it's because one of 2 mislabeled. So I'm keeping it because it might be the only one in existence. So who can say? No, Stabberty. Stabberty denied. There'll be no blood for the blood god. Pliers says, weakling, says Kevin. Yeah, I'm not going to grab the back of a knife and pull it down. Plus, it's really hard to get that blade on anyway. Was hoping for bloody mess there. Never mind, says Osric. Yeah, denied. Doesn't mean you're not going to get bloody mess later on. Trust me on this. Yeah, just because I didn't stab myself then doesn't mean I won't stab myself like right now. Still got the Mr. Nosy Bonk music in my head. Still officially. Cut away from yourself, says Cogboy. I can't cut away from myself. I have tried. I find it physically impossible. I have, thankfully though, spent so many decades cutting towards myself that I'm pretty much can do it without any incident most of the time. Just very occasionally I'll just maybe, dive a blade into my finger for a few inches. Battle scars. Part of the course. It's part of the experience. Just don't look up Lamb Chops and Friends. The end song will really get stuck in your head. Yeah. I found myself watching a lot of Mr. Rogers stuff the other day, and I'm British and we don't even have Mr. Rogers ever. We have no affinity with Mr. Rogers, and yet I found myself watching it and finding it quite pleasing to watch. Quite pleasant. Won't you be my neighbour? I know that's not quite the right song. I can't remember it quite now. Asai says, if I cut away from myself after 20 years of not doing it, I'd probably cut myself way more. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because cutting towards myself, here's the thing, right? Cutting towards myself, I tend to, what you'll see me do, let me just cut a bit of this sprue off so I can demonstrate. The funny thing is, right, as a Brit, having watched approximately 10 minutes of Mr. Rogers, now I can't see the word neighbourhood and not think of Mr. Rogers. My God, you guys had him for 40 years. No wonder he's in your collective consciousness. Yeah, when I cut things and when I'm trimming, I do it like this. I hold it like that. And I have my thumbs anchored to each other as best I can, or my finger or something in the way, so that although I'm cutting like this, I've got the thumbs to buffer themselves. So they can't, I usually, 99% of the time, I can't stab myself. I can't go too far. It's only very, very occasionally where perhaps it jumps or something happens. More often than not, it's because I put my thumb there and it's this thumb that gets cut on the blade because it's on the blade like that and I get carried away. So it's very rare that sometimes it will jump and skitter, and that's when you might get a bit of stabbity. But doing it away from myself, I just can't control. So if I do it towards myself, I can control the height of the blade and keep it parallel to the surface and all that. If I do it that way, I'm like, I can't. I'm just pinging the piece off and I'm gouging plastic and I can't do it. I just cannot cut away from myself. Well, so much for working on my model room. This is more important. Yes, I'll also catch Chris's show, says Lynn. Good girl. This is the right thing to watch. Jordan Capuano says, so to my dismay, when Conquest had aggressors, I bought 4 issues. After checking my codex, they appear to come with flamethrowers. Now I'm on a quest to hunt down 12 times Chaos Rhino smoke grenades. Yes. I can't remember what... I've done my aggressors. I can't remember what the aggressors do, what you get. Doodle-doo. This will be my first conversion apart from kit bits bashing. Does anyone have any advice for turning them into frag launchers? If I remember, aren't grenade launchers kind of a bit pants in Warhammer? In 40k, aren't they a bit rubbish? If I remember rightly, aren't flamethrowers and flamers and melters are guaranteed hit weapons? And grenade launchers are not that effective. I know whenever I've built like some bog standard Imperial Guard and I've had the choice of a grenade launcher, I've read up I've read up on your various forums, and people have looking through what people have built, and they've always said, yep, have these guys with flamers, have these guys with bolters or las guns or whatever. I was building my Scions and it was saying, one guy was saying, yeah, I've got them all with like the bog standard las rifles. I've given a load of as many as I can. I've given the hotshot volley guns because they're a bit more powerful. And he said, but I've given none of them the grenade launchers because they're a bit pants. But if I remember rightly, aren't melters and flamers instant hit, guaranteed hit? Somebody who knows the rules better, tell me. Dashab says blight launchers are good though. Death Guard grenade launchers, yeah, they've always got the advantage. But somebody who knows the game better, tell me. Melters, no, says Dashabs. Okay, so it's flamers then, isn't it? Flamers, yes. I don't know, because I'm no expert, but I seem to remember that grenade launchers aren't that great. You may not want to put all your eggs into that particular basket, I think, is what I'm trying to say. I do know that when I built my Tempestus Scions, I think I've got 20 of them. I had to go and get a load of extra bits online because I wanted as many of them as possible to have hotshot volley guns because they were better than the standard Scion laser weapon, las weapon. So I do now have quite a few of them with hotshot volley guns, as many as I can get into a group. Flamestorm gauntlets equal aggressors. Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. The things on the. Oh yeah, I'm thinking of. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't quite remember. I was thinking of just bog standard grenade launch. I'll shut up now. Somebody who knows the rules and these figures better, tell me. Yeah. I haven't played a game yet. I'm just going off what I read on the internet. This is quite tricky to get to in here. Now, Simon Reynolds will tell you that his bane of his existence are backpacks. Because of all these little fiddly seam lines and things. Now, the difference that obviously there is, because me and Si have talked about this, and he says it's like, it can take him forever to do a backpack. But the big difference is he's doing them to, like, you know, proper competition standard, whereas I'm just slapping these together for, at the best, tabletop standard. So yeah, there might be a few little seamline bits here and there that aren't quite hidden away very well. What did I miss, says Andy McLeish? Nothing. Not a lot. I managed to coax out some of the lurkers by asking where everybody was. Right, any news? I don't think of any news I've got to tell you. Nope. Oh, I was going to show you this and I forgot. If you didn't see it, if you haven't seen, if you're a patron, you will have already watched part 2 of this project, which is the final part where I got this vehicle. This is my Borderlands style Achilles Ridge Runner. If you're a patron, the video part 2 is available for you now, exclusively in early access, advert free. So do make sure to go and watch it. I've got something like 50 or 60 patrons and it's had about 16 views. So not everybody's watched it. So remember, if you're a patron, you do have early access to all my content, advert free for a week. If you're not a patron, don't worry. It should be coming up on, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday. Part 2 will be released for everybody else. But yes, this is the, I'll zoom in a bit for you. Let me put my other glasses on so I can see the downside of having 2 pairs of glasses, so I can see the monitor, so I can see what you're seeing. If I put it down there, let me zoom in so you can. That's not what I want to zoom into. Where's my controls? Where are the controls? Oh, dropping things. Zooming. Now remember, it's going to look a bit crap on telly because it's a digital zoom and it's a crappy webcam, so you're losing a lot of detail. But yeah, it's got finished. It's been done. So part 2 should be coming up in the next couple of days for non-patrons. Should be seeing the episode in which I show how I did all the special detailing and the ink outlining. Because I've got to tell you, doing the ink outlining is a lot easier than it looks. It's not as hard as long as you've got a decent brush and you're using actual inks. It's not as hard as it looks. I was like, oh, I'm dead nervous now. But if you've had any experience at all drawing comic book art, even just, you know, doing drawings yourself, not obviously as a comic book artist, but if you've had any experience doing ink and watercolour outlines or ink drawings where you do an ink outline and colour it in, anything like that, you'll have some good footing. If you know how to do things like cross-hatching for shade effects and things like that, then even easier. But if you've not, then it's still fairly straightforward. So I do recommend at some point have a go with this Borderlands style outlining. It's incredibly good fun. I shall zoom back out again. But what that showed me was that the Big Master Grade Sazabi will in fact be done. Hope George is listening. The Big Master Grade Sazabi will in fact have a Borderlands style paint job, because I had such great fun doing the outlining on that there's absolutely no way I'm not going to do it on the Sazabi. The plan, that was a test pig for the big Sazabi build, basically. I wanted to see if the technique worked. Let's have a look. Andy, hi Andy, says Lynn, you missed Fox changing a stabity blade and no blood. I know. Let's have a look. And Eon's car is in. Welcome Eon's car. Gaz Vickers, morning all. Welcome Gaz. Simon Reynolds says, rude word, backpacks. Yeah. Because, like I said, when I'm doing these figures, I'm not doing these to competition standard. I'm barely doing them to tabletop standard. My quality of my work, my games work, I'll start again. My paint quality is not what you would call exhibition standard. I haven't got the patience to do exhibition style. I mean, probably haven't even got the skill, but yeah, my paint jobs are, I have a very impressionistic style. If you know your art, you know that Impressionists had a very loose style. They didn't paint things exactly as they appeared in real life. You know, if you put a bowl of fruit in front of an Impressionist, then you will get a painting that looks like a bowl of fruit. They're not going to give you some cubist nonsense that looks like complete pap, or some vorticist stuff or any of that nonsense. Although I do quite like the vorticists. They were quite a good movement. And none of this Bauhaus nonsense. It would look like a bowl of fruit, and you'd say that's a bowl of fruit. But they have a very loose interpretive style, and that's kind of the style that I use when I paint models. I don't go for super realism. I go for realism. In that, you know, I go for chipping and I go for weathering and I try and use logical thought processes to say, well, if this was a real vehicle, then this would be painted and that would chip off there, and then you'd have this. So I do use some logic, but what I don't do is go for super realistic or even particularly super beautiful, careful, hundreds of millions of coats sort of competition or standard, anything like that. No, I'm more an impressionist style. Whereas somebody like Si might, take great care in building up layers and fine details and glazing and stuff. I'm more the broad brushstrokes kind of style. I mean, I probably could do some, heavy, competition standard, but I don't know how good I'd be. I could, what I mean is I could do the work. I could, I could physically do it. I just don't know if it would be any good. It wouldn't be anywhere near size quality. And I don't think I'd enjoy it. I just like slapping my broad brushstrokes. I like to, as Ted would say, slap it on rather than go through the... But that's the thing. Different people have different preferred styles. And this is what I say to a lot of people who are just starting out in the hobby. Just starting out with the painting. The worst thing you can do when you're just taking your first steps into painting of any kind of model, be it, miniatures like these or, real world stuff or anything like that. The worst thing you can do is compare yourself to others. Now, you do want to look at the work of others because you want to learn how to do things, and one of the best ways to learn how to do something is to study how other people have done it. There are multiple ways to get an end result, and the only way you're going to find that out is by a lot of trial and error and luck, or studying how other people have done it. And then what you'll find is that over time, eventually what will happen is you will either find a method for getting the end result that you enjoy doing and works for you perfectly, in which case bonus, or you'll just find a method that works for you, and then you'll come up with some variation that nobody's thought of before, or you'll mix and match two different methods. There'll be something you'll figure out. But when you're just starting out, it's very important to look at other people's work, and it's almost a good idea to copy, because the only way you're going to find out how to do things, often without access to the person that did it to tell you, is just to copy them and see, to look at different techniques. Eventually what you'll do is you'll look at something and know how the artist has done it, because you'll know the different techniques. While you're starting out, don't be afraid to copy. But this is the thing: look at other people's work, use it for inspiration, use it for guidance. So you might look at a piece of, a model that's been painted, and the blurb might say, here's how I painted this model. I did this, 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 and this. So you've now got the techniques the person used, and you've got the artwork, the photographs of the model. There's no harm at all in just copying that, trying to copy it to learn. But whatever you do, do not compare yourself. Ever. Even when you've been doing it for 20 years and and you've got loads of experience, it's a hard thing to do, but try not to consciously compare yourself to others. It's a very fine line, because you want to expose yourself to other people's work for reference and for learning, but you don't want to be comparing yourself. And especially while you're just starting out, and I say this to beginners all the time, the worst thing you can do as a beginner who's got like 10 hours painting experience is look at the work of someone who's been doing it for 30 years and think to yourself, I can't do that. Look at what I've done. What I've done is absolute rubbish compared to that. I'll just give up. That's the worst thing you can do, because literally you are comparing your 10 hours of experience and practice with thousands, tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands. Let me get the calculator. Hundreds, how many hours? Hang on. Let's say 30 years times 4 hours a day. That's not right. 4 hours a day times 200 days a year equals times 30 years. Yeah, okay. maybe not hundreds of thousands of hours. You're comparing your 10 hours of fumbling about trying to learn to tens, 20, 30, 40,000, tens of thousands of hours that somebody else has spent over 20, 30 years. And it's not realistic. It's not to say you won't get there. And it's not to say you shouldn't look at other people's work as something you want to achieve. But you shouldn't directly compare your work in a critical way. Look at your work and look at their work and try and see how it differs and understand how it differs and use it as a path to learn how you can change your techniques and your methods to get closer to what the other person has done. Use it as maybe a crutch or a sort of guide or aid, but don't use it as a milestone. It's not like I must be able to do this. It's not. Because that's the other thing I was going to say is ultimately everybody has their own specific style. And it's, for most of us, it's just a case of doing what I've just said. You look at other people's work, you rip it off, you steal the ideas completely, you copy it mercilessly. But in doing that, when you're younger, you know, you're copying, you're stealing ideas. That's how you learn. But by the end of it, you've got to the point where you've taken these ideas and these styles and you've actually developed your own way of doing it with bits of other people's style thrown in, which at the end of the day is when you get to situations like, which is the entire point of why I went on this long waffle anyway, was how you end up with two people like myself and Simon, for example, who are doing basically the same thing. We're making the same models, we're painting the same things, but we've got two vastly different styles, completely, utterly. I mean, Simon is far better than me anyway, let's just be honest. Simon's a much better painter than I am anyway, but I've been doing tabletop gaming models for, 2.5, 3 years? Simon's been doing it for thousands of years. So, again, I don't compare. I look at Simon's work and think, yeah, I can take some ideas from that. I can listen to how he does things, but I don't compare myself to his work and think, oh, I'm rubbish, I just need to give up. Because I've been doing it for like 2 years, 3 years. He's been doing it for a trillion years. He's like 75 years old in reality. We think he's like, in his 30s. He's not. He's like 132. But, so... But then again, we've also got two totally different styles in that, I go for the broad brushstrokes impressionist style, and that's what I'm happy doing. And I very rarely go beyond that, because that's what I'm comfortable doing. That's where my level of comfort is. To be honest, my boredom threshold is ridiculous. If I tried to do anything more complex than that, I'd probably just give up and start something else. So, and that's why, to me, I don't mind backpacks, because that's now done to my happy level. There's still a little bit of a seam line on the engines at the back, but I don't really mind. That's now done to my satisfaction. I can live with that. Whereas Simon would have another 3 hours taking all the marks off that. I'm like, you know what, it's got a bit of a seam line. Yeah, it'll do. It'll do. That'll do, donkey, that'll do. Let's have a look. Beyond Hope says, good afternoon all, who do I complain to about this stream? I went into Games Workshop for a couple of paints and came out with a rhino and some spiced maroons. Fox is a bad influence. Send all your letters of complaint to Points of View, BBC Television Centre, London, W12 8QT. There you go. Let's have a look. What's chat saying? So yeah, I would say, and this isn't just for people that are brand new, it's for people who've been doing it for a long time. People, a proper talented artist will never say, I am perfect and my work is perfect and I've got all the skills. If a proper talented artist will always be learning. So it applies to anybody, whether you've been doing it for 5 minutes or 5 years or 50 years. Always be looking at other people's work and always be comparing, but don't get yourself down if you aren't as good as somebody who's got a lot more experience. And especially don't get down if you're not as good as somebody who's doing a completely different technique or style to yours. I look at stuff that Mick Jimenez paints and I think, oh, I wish I could paint a tank that well. But that's not how I paint. That's not my style. And there's no point in getting down, because it's like saying, I don't know. It's like me saying, I wish I was really good at tennis, but I make models. It's a different thing, isn't it? Simon Reynolds says his current bane is this goddamn Cesabi. What's your boggle? Si, what's your boggle with the Cesabi? What issue are you having? I've started building the frame and I'm not seeing any major problems here. But then again, I'm doing a fixed pose. Quano Man says, cool, I'll be all over that video like a sweaty rash that's all itchy. Thank you. Not some nice images. Yes, if you are a Patreon supporter of mine, thank you very much for a start. But episode 2 of the Borderlands Ridge Runner is on there now. All my original content that isn't e-models is available to patrons a week early, advert free. So even $1 patrons. So yeah, patreon.com/model making guru. Support the channel. But that's one of the main advantages that everybody gets is all non-games workshop. No, that's rubbish. All non-Patreon exclusive content goes up a week early for patrons with no advertisings. Simon Reynolds says, I regret the decision for museum quality. Yes. The thing is, though, Si, I mean, like I was saying a minute ago, Si's got his very slow, patient, like he says, museum quality paint jobs. That's his technique, and that's what he does. And I've got my slap it on, quick coats. If anything, it's like mine is a bit like Duncan, but sloppier and less rigid. That's why I don't do edge highlighting, because it's far too anal, and I'm not that. There you go. So. And I'm a lazy git anyway, so I look for shortcuts. I could spend hours painting this, or I could just do a wash and a shade, and there you go, dry brush done and fixed. But the thing is, it's like I couldn't necessarily start doing museum quality paint. It's not like I choose to do like an impressionist style, but I could do, competition quality if I wanted to, because I haven't learnt those skills. But I suppose I'm guessing for you, it's the same, that you can do the competition quality. But perhaps you might find a paint style like mine that's more quick and impressionistic difficult, because although it's simple techniques, you've not got the natural muscle memory. Maybe, I don't know, I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe you can do both. But the fact that you stick to your high quality builds and paint jobs suggests to me that that's what you know and love. And it's like when I was writing music, I used to write symphonic electronica, which is music that was all on synthesizer, and it was influenced by like Vangelis and Jean-Michel Jarre and Kraftwerk and Tangerine Dream, and it was all complex, multi-layered, thematic, Leda Onoverta style with, thematic hooks and very filmic, very symphonic. So I'm not trying to make an orchestra sound, but just like kind of Vangelis-y. But when I tried to do dance music, and that's complex and multi-layered, and that's your museum quality, competition quality paint job. On a couple of occasions, I tried to do simple Ibiza anthem style, just dance music, like bog standard, thumping bass, bit of repetitive thing with a bit of a filter and a gate going on. And I couldn't do it. And that was like my style, my impressionistic, simple brushstroke style, broad brushstrokes. And that's the point I'm trying to make. I was so used to doing the complex symphonic electronica, I couldn't do a simple dance tune for the life of me. I tried them and they came out absolute bish. I just couldn't do it. I could write a complex symphonic piece. I couldn't do a simple thumping bass tune, like club tune. I think it's just what you're comfortable with. So I could be wrong. I mean, you can tell me, Simon, now that you could just do any kind of style, but you prefer to do the complicated stuff. But I'm thinking perhaps maybe you would find it more challenging because you haven't got the muscle memories and I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. Andy McLeish says, how long did the earth take to dry again? Yes, I used a Grelin Earth on the base, and I left it overnight. I put so much on there, and it was actually a warm night. And a little bit moist of the evening. So I did leave it overnight, and it probably about 3 or 4 hours in reality, because it was late when I finished. Now, a few people did say to speed up the Grelin Earth, the crackle paint, to blang it with a hairdryer, but there were 2 reasons why I didn't do that. First of all, this is easy line. This rigging on the aerial is easy line. It's a rubber strip. It's a rubber line. If you get a hairdryer on that too much, it does actually whizen away and snaps. It just kind of dries out and becomes less flexible and snaps. So it's not a great idea. But the other thing is, the way the crackle paint works is that it counts on it drying unevenly. So what you have is, you have the thickness of the paint. There's the bottom, there's the top. Here's the open air. It depends on this stuff down here drying slower than that stuff down there. And this bit here, and viewed from above, it wants to make sure that this bit here dries faster than that bit there, but slower than that bit there. And what happens is, because all the different bits are drying at different times, the top dries faster, so it develops a crust, whilst the bottom is still fluid and liquidy and still curing. That's how the crust develops. As that then dries, the crust is moving around because the paint underneath is still drying and it's different thicknesses, but because it's all drying at different rates, it pulls in different directions. And this crust, you see this crust on the top, it's like a rice pudding crust. Eventually it's being pulled that way there and this way, and it'll just split apart and break, and that's where the crackles come from. This sort of crust on the surface is being pulled in different directions, and it cracks and rips, and that's where you get all these little beautiful little sort of textured patterns. If you go in with a hairdryer, you speed that process up from an hour, several hours, into minutes. And what you're doing is, instead of taking the random ass different rates of curing where you get all the different tensions that pull the paint apart, you're kind of just drying it all quickly. And while it might come out looking like that, it probably won't. It won't be as interesting, it won't be as crackled, it'll be just kind of, you're drying it uniformly. And the one thing crackle paint needs is not uniform drying. So yeah, so kind of left it overnight. So Candygram says, dang it, that looks nice, I'm going to try that ink technique. It is actually deceptively simple. All you need is a decent small brush. I use my Winsor & Newton triple aught or 000, and for a lot of it you're simply taking an edge and you're taking your brush at a 45 degree, just like edge highlighting, and you're working the brush along like that. You're not using the tip, you're taking the edge there, and you just, let's say I want to paint this corner here, I'm taking the brush like that. I imagine that's the bristly part of the brush. I'm just getting the bristles and I'm doing that. And it's because you're using an ink and not a paint, it's just fluid enough that just running the tip of the brush across the edge will just deposit enough. And if it's not quite opaque enough, a quick go over with the second touch is just because the ink is dark enough and opaque enough, but also it's flowy enough because it's thin that it will nicely cover that edge. Don't try it with paint, it just won't work. You need to use inks, and it's actually not that hard. The real trick comes in knowing about doing cross hatching. Let me explain. Time to get the pen out. Yes, I've used this. Are you going to see this? No, let's use a big fat pen. I've used this pad for demonstrating things to you guys and have actually, any kind of paletting. So for example, let's say you've got the fender there like that, there's the wheel, there's the tyre, that's the tyre there, you've got the fender here like that, there's a bit of a grill there going on. What I did was, for example, I painted, imagine I painted, how can I do this without actually drawing it? Imagine I painted a paint chip here like that, and I painted it a different colour, whatever that paint chip might be. If you can see that, I don't know if you can. It's like a pencil paint chip. What I would do is I would go in with the ink. I'd obviously get the ink around the outlines here with the brush by doing the 45 degree technique on the edges. It's actually solid, so let's just give that a shape there. That's the wheel under there. So what I would do is I'd get the edges. Then with the tip of the brush, because it's a triple aught brush, it's tiny, with the tip of the brush I would very gently run the ink around the edge like that, but not contiguously, not a complete solid. I'll break it up in little bits. Very fine thin line. It's going to end up thinner than these because I'm using the very tip of the brush, almost no pressure. And then what I want to do, that's one thing, so it gives an edge to the paint chip in the Borderlands style. But then what you can do is, for little dark patches, you can do cross-hatching. Now, like I said before, if you've done any kind of like comic book drawing, anything like, you'll know what cross-hatching is. There's different ways to do it. But if you're careful, again, do it with the tip of the brush. You want almost no ink on the brush. You're just doing little lines like that. Now, it wouldn't maybe be as dense as that. I'd probably only have maybe 3 or 4 lines because that looks a bit too uniform and regular. And what I might do as well is here, on this edge. This is like the flat surface here, and then you've got the edge here. I might do a few lines here just to suggest a corner, and then same there, but just on that corner. Or if you've got like a, can I find one on there? There's some bits where perhaps there might be, let's have a look. I'd put a little paint chip here, so what I did was I had an outline around a paint chip that was just in the middle of nowhere, and then just put some lines like that. Or little, it's hard to do it now without a brush, it's hard to do with a pen, but it's just little subtle cross hatches. Because you've got a brush, if you put more pressure on at the start, you tend to get a shape like that, rather than just a, you get, you know, more your triangle shape. More pressure, less pressure. So when you're doing this, with the, you kind of have to practice it a bit to get natural at doing cross hatching. Just take a bit of practice, but that suddenly brings up the cartoony aspect of it. So it's not just hitting the outlines, it's about filling in those cross. I'll see if I can zoom in at all on that. Hang on, let me just see if I can. I don't know if this will be in focus for you. But you can hopefully see here. There we go. There's a little outline. Oh, this was a giant paint chip in the corner of this door. There's a join in the middle of the door here, where the door opens. It opens up and down. So there's a joint in the middle. I did a big paint chip here. This bit here is a darker colour. Make sure you can see it. That bit there is a darker colour. And I just did a very delicate outline around it. It broken up into little bits, and then I did a little bit of cross hatching there, and it just makes it look darker. Same on the back. There was a darker patch here on this little bit of the back of the car, and again I painted around the edge of it, and there's just some very little cross hatches, and it just means that for a few little bits of the model, rather than just having dark coloured paint chips, you've got dark coloured paint chips that look like it's been drawn in a comic book. Now that's not strictly Borderlands style, but it just kind of add to it. So it's just having fun. Sai says it's just edge highlighting with ink, to be honest. Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much edge highlighting with ink and a little bit of cross hatching. You wouldn't normally do cross hatching with edge highlighting, but it's the same kind of thing. But the weird thing is I can't do edge highlighting for toffee, but it seems I can do it with ink. Very weird. Let's have a look. Why backpacks? It's just big suits instead. Jordan Capano says, just check the codex, and aggressors with frag launchers are 6 shots at D6 times 12 aggressors is 72 shots. Surely I could tear some things up. Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure my face was built by an abstract artist, says Quanoman. Well done. Nim says, Monet, Renoir, Van Gogh, though he's post almost expressionist, but it works. Maybe I'm not quite as impressionist as that. Let's have a look. What shade would be best for Mephisto Red to look like it's been in grimy area for a long time, asks More Draka. Well, traditionally with Mephisto Red, you can use normal oil, because it's a good dark black colour for red. However, you can build up Agrax Earthshade if you want it to look not just dark, like dark red and light red. If you're doing the highlights over the top, something like Agrax would work quite nicely. Because it's a brown tone, or even mix in some Agrax and some normal oil. You could, if you wanted to, get a bit creative and try some Agrax, and then maybe a very diluted down coat of what's the green one? Not Baletan green. Athonian camo shade. That can kind of make it look grimy and a bit mingy, like it's got some kind of growth on it, like it's got some scum, some algae growing on it. Let's have a look. Annie McLeish says, to Beyond Hope, the complaints department has been closed for years. Oh yes, I forgot. Well, it used to be, the email address for complaints is helgen35 at geocities.com. Yes. Let's have a look. Oh, this is when you get your first project you're happy with, put it outside for 6 months or a year, and then look back at it when you're doing, look at what you are doing. I'll start again. what he's saying is basically put your first project to one side for 6 months and come back and compare it to whatever you're doing at the time, and you'll see how far you've come. Simon Reynolds says about the backpacks, it's just the tiny mould lines, Fox, which I have to remove compulsively, even though they can be argued as weld lines maybe. Also, I'm finding the light silver plastic an arse to work with. Light silver plastic? Oh, on the Cesar, yeah. It's all right. It's not the best for sanding. Yes, if you're like me, I have to get rid of all my seam lines, mould lines. The thing to remember is that a lot of it is never going to be seen, especially some of the inner frame parts. Some of the bits you're taking all the mould lines off may well actually be inside something else and never seen again, so don't lose too much sleep over it. The moment I realised that I can glue the gunplate into a fixed position and not worry too much about all the stuff I'm never ever going to see because everything's going to be glued into position, my life became a lot easier. Reynolds says, the Bandai plastic is different from Games Workshop's. I just can't scrape the line away as it seems to be harder. The plastic just scratches up, so it's all sanding. Yeah, that's when you want your files. Chris asks if the bottom is moist because the top is crusty. I said nothing of the sort. Paul Di Tommaso is in. Hello, people. That's looking awesome, Fox. Thank you very much, dude. How is the factory? Candygram says, thanks for the explanation of the ink technique. I'm going to try this. I collect fountain pens and have a lot of different colours of ink I can try. Yeah, I mean, I used that Dr. Martens. I only got this because it's matte, and it turns out it's not that matte. I brushed a lot of it underneath, and it's shiny, but we might varnish over the top, and it's fine. But Winsor Newton inks. If you've got the Winsor & Newton ink bottle with the spider on the front, I used to use that. I've got jars of that that are 30 years old. Basically, as long as it's India ink, it's fine. Winsor & Newton, Daler Rowney, they all make good inks. Doodle-doo. Awesome, Fox. I'm going to try that one day, says Lynn. Give it a go. Earl D says, the Bandai silver plastic looks great with just C1 buffed on it. Ooh, that's an idea. Factory is okay as usual, says Paul Tommaso. Cool. Is it full of all the good sweets that you've not eaten yet? Candy factory. Imagine working. I couldn't work in a candy factory any more than I could work in a restaurant or any kind of food place. Because the worst job I could have in the world. Am I in focus, by the way? Just do let me know. The worst job I could have is to work in a kitchen or anything like that, because it'd be just torture. It'd be sheer torture. Because I'm like a puppy in a way. I'm like a dog in a way that when it comes to food, like, I will quite happily help my fellow man as much as I can. You know, I'll always help my friends out. I'll always do the Good Samaritan thing, unless it involves food. When it comes to food, I'm kind of like a dog, in that I will expect you to share as much of your food with me as you can. However, don't even ask me to share my food, because it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, I couldn't work in a restaurant because I'd be giving food to other people, and that's against my entire reason for existence, which is to eat all the food in the world. Paul says we can't eat or sample the product. Oh, torture. See, what they should do, my sister-in-law did work at Cadbury's for a little while. Not for very long. On the production line. And I said, oh, what's it like? And she said, well, first day. She was like, well, it's quite good because you're allowed to eat whatever you want. You can just pick stuff off the production line if you want. Because I said, what do you do with what do you do with this food going past you on the conveyor belts? And the girls were like, well, just eat what you want. If you want to grab a chocolate bar off the production line, just grab it and eat it. No, you're allowed to. And I was like, wow, that sounds awesome. And she went, yeah, it was for the first day. Once you get to the second day, you never want to eat chocolate again. And that's what they count on, apparently. They say you can eat as much as you like, knowing full well that once you've done that a couple of times and made yourself sick, you won't do it again. It's a lot less hassle to let people make themselves sick and never do it again than it is to actually try and enforce any kind of rule that you can't eat. Lynn Nipple says, I work in fast food places and I got sick of the food, eating the same thing and mixing it up, just got old week after week. Yeah. I couldn't work in a because I'd just be constantly hungry. I mean, I am constantly hungry all the time. But I think when I was a very small child, I was in a transporter accident with a tapeworm. And somehow there was a combination event going on. I basically did a 2-Vix, but I turned into like me and a tapeworm. So consequently, I'm hungry all the damn time because I am basically just a tapeworm. James Chapman's in. Afternoon, guys. I'm a chef and I get sick of the sight of it. That would be my worst nightmare job, to be a chef or cook. Can you imagine that? Because the thing is, right, I love food, but I absolutely hate cooking with a passion. I hate it with the vengeance. It's boring. It's tedious. It's not interesting. Oh, I want the food into my mouth. I don't want to be standing over a stove moving things around in a pan for 10 minutes because that's just boring. Now, is this drill bit going to be small enough to make a hole in this barrel? Ooh, yes, just about. We're pushing the limits of what we can do here. So yeah, that would be anathema to me. Actually, oh god, working as a chef. No. I'm doing a fixed pose, as you know. Says Kerr. Wow. Start again. Says Sai. I forgot you're doing a fixed pose. I still have to remove the mould lines. Yeah. I mean, I do find myself doing that as well. Sometimes. Not on Gunpla, but when it comes to Warhammer, I do find myself getting quite obsessive about the mould lines. And, I take time removing them. But when it comes to Gunpla, I kind of, nah. Once I class something as interior, I kind of don't bother. Do. Let's drill out this little hole. We're off to Button Moon to drill out little holes, little holes. What's talking about? Yeah, so I couldn't work in a restaurant or cafe. Just Django says, my future sonic screwdriver mod project is going to be easy since I can use Tamiya Extra Thin and Gundam marker. Cool. Nothing wrong with that. I like the sound of this sonic screwdriver project. This seems relevant to my interest. As someone who once spent £300 on a replica of the 10th Doctor's greatcoat, it's well than more in my wheelhouse. Doodaloo, I need some extra thin to tidy up this barrel. No, I did screw this barrel up a little bit, but never mind. Nobody will know. There we go. All my crimes are forgiven. David Butch, that model is in. Welcome, Dave. Welcome. Earl D says, the boss said I could take some beef Wellington home after a function. After making them, cooking them, cutting them up, I was absolutely off beef. yeah. JS Idaho is in. Welcome, JS. Welcome. James Chapman is good. He's just thinking of possibly getting Ravel's London bus. If not, I'm stuck on what kit to get next. I've seen a few people build that and they did quite enjoy it. I think Colin over at Festive 67's Workshops built that. I think. It's supposed to be quite good. Skullfish says, 3 sets of paint racks finished and glue setting up. Now to peel all the errant Gorilla Glue PVA from my hands and arms. Yes. I'm going to get myself a couple of drawers sets from the Hobby Zone. My very, very good friend Kenneth, who lives in Australia, you all know Kenneth, he's got a couple of drawers from a company I can't remember the name of. It's like RT Station or something. It's basically like Hobby Zone, but they're not. They're from Japan, and they've got these paint drawers that they pull out, but then they pull out like that, but then they angle down, so you can pull them out and drop them down, and you can see all the paints. And that would be brilliant, except I'm in the UK and it would cost me too much to get them imported, so I can't do that. But what I suddenly realised is I've got nowhere to put my Citadel paints. They're just living in the project box at the moment. And it's a pain in the bum because I've got to go in the box and get them out. But I suddenly realised if I get myself a couple more of the Hobby Zone units where they've just got 2 drawers, not the 3 drawer units, but the 2 drawer units, the drawers are tall enough that I can put even shades in there just standing up. So I'm going to get myself a couple of the 2 drawer units and raise my Hobby Zone setup up a little bit. And I'll have somewhere to store them. Lynn is still cleaning a model room so she can build a bench. Get with it, get on it, get on it. Lynn says, yes, build the bus. Gyna X01, welcome. Not seen you in chat before, but welcome, welcome. Is the Citadel mould line tool worth the money? Yes, absolutely, because you'll use it on all kinds of kits. Absolutely. Because I've said this many times before, when you're scraping a panel line or a mould line or anything like that away, you can just use a blade. But the problem with the blade is that it bends. Oh, something happened. Nigel Walters subscribed. Thank you very much for subscribing, Nigel Walters. You are welcome. Yeah, if you try and scrape with the blade bends. And as you're scraping away like a mould line on the plastic, you can put, as it bends and skitters across the surface, you can end up putting little scrapes and scratches in there. Then you've got to sand them back, and then it's a pain in the bum because you've got to then try and foul or sand those back. With this thing, it's solid, it doesn't bend. So when you're scraping a mould line away, it just leaves a nice flat surface. It's not going to skitter across the surface. And I've actually got to the point where I've got like 2 pieces of plastic. You've glued 2 things together like that, and you've got a slight step. If you get like a step joint, like you've got, say, a rectangular tube, and you've glued the 2 halves together and you've got a slight step joint, this is great just for running down the middle and flattening the whole thing. And even when you've done like any filling with glue, if you've done any glue filling or sprue glue filling of 2 halves and you've got the bleb of glue all cured and dried, just running it over to get rid of the filler, the glue filler, it's brilliant because it doesn't bend and it leaves everything nice and smooth. So when you use this, you just run it over, get everything nice and smooth, and then just give it a quick once over with your sort of medium sanding pad, and great, it's ready for primer then. So absolutely, it's the one Citadel tool that's absolutely worth the money. It is the best tool you'll ever have in your collection. I use it on everything. It's fantastic. Orc Boy Morka says hey, and then retracts a message, but welcome, Orc Boy Morka. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, Fox, always need to check the depth of the drawer so you can fit stuff in, says Skullfish. Well, the 2 drawer sets are going to be the same depth as these things, where you get these, because this is the same, all the units are the same height, and you get the one with 6 of these, and it's 1 and then 1 underneath as well. That's 2. You get 2 of those things. And the beauty with these is that you can, if they don't fight you, let me not get them out, let me get a different one, hang on. Let's get one with big things in it that are easy to move. No, they're all not easy to move. Oh, Korean Baljan. Oh, everything's falling over now. Ooh, like one of these. Yeah, you get a 2. Each unit is the same height. I think it's 15 centimeters or something. And the one that comes with these is 2 of these tall. And this is the same height as the 2 drawer one, and you can easily fit not only paints but a shade in there, and the drawer will still close with a shade in there nicely. So I can get, it'll be a drawer that long, it's like a 30 centimeter long drawer that's 15 high, and 2 of them. I can get all my Citadel paints into those drawer units quite nicely. Thank you very much. Because like I said, they're in the Citadel project box, which is great, but the Citadel project box is absolutely full of Citadel, but there's nothing else in there. It's just full of Citadel paint, and I've made a right mess of my desk. Oh, everything's falling over. Do you know what I've done today? I've actually cleaned about 4 pieces, and that's all I've done today. Quick question. Is there anyone out there that can possibly do decals for a Tamiya 112 Team Lotus Mark III, as mine were like sandpaper and just disintegrated in water? There's a few places that do decals like proper businesses, but they will expect you to buy 100 or 1,000 sheets bulk for maybe hundreds of pounds. I was looking for custom decal places for a while. And aside from one or two people who could do custom decals, a lot of the proper grown-up businesses that do it are proper businesses. They want you to do 5,000, minimum run of 5,000 sheets. They don't do one sheet of decals. So you're going to the small individuals to do it. And the problem with them is that there's not many of them around and your mileage may vary. I used a place to do my Shanghai Dragons decals for the Sazabi. I ended up using a place in the US called Fallout Hobbies, I think it was. I think it's Fallout Hobbies. I don't know if perhaps Chris, if he's still in chat, could find them and put a link to them. They do custom decal work. And they will print out whatever you want, basically. And they will do one sheet. It cost me about $35 for a big A4 sheet of decals. But they actually did me a second sheet with some slight colour variations. And that's not bad. That's 35. That's like 27 quid, which is fine for water slide decals. Because if you get an A4 sheet, let's say you've got a chapter of Space Marines, for example, and you want to do all the little symbols that go on the arm pauldrons, you could print thousands of them on that sheet. So it's kind of worth it, but it's in the US and it takes a little while to get to you. The downside, of course, is that you have to send them an exceptionally high quality image, and they'll charge a bit more if they have to do any design work. If you actually have your own copy of Photoshop, I design them myself. If you can design them yourself, it's even better. So what you would need to do is find someone that can print them, and then find a very high resolution image of the decal sheet, and you'd have to then be able to tell them exactly what size that needs to be. So yeah, you're easier to just go on eBay and see if anybody's got a set of the decals for sale, because somebody will have the decals. And Chris, I think that might be the right one. Let me check. I'm just checking now for you. Yeah, that's the one. It's a company in the US that does it. So if you're in the UK, it's not going to be cheap. Like I say, it cost me $35, but I designed all the decal designs myself in Photoshop and just sent them a couple of Photoshop files and PNG files of the right size and all the colours of the right. I just basically said, here's the image, stick it on a sheet, print it out. So there you go. Fox just emailed you a link for a paint stand and some rulers. Thank you very much, Lynn. The problem I've got with paint stands, and I'll move the camera back a little bit, is that when it comes to paint stands, I have that on top, so nothing can go on top of this, and I have that there, so that needs to be on the top. If I get two of the 2 drawer units, this is that high and that wide. It's like this one here. This is 3 drawers. It's like that, but it's 2 drawers, not 3. I can just plonk it underneath this, and I can plonk one underneath this, and this will go up here, and that will go up there, and that'll be fine. I do have some over there as well, but I can't put it there because that lamp sits on top of there, so I can't add anything to that one because the lamp can't go higher. Can't put it in the corner because that's my corner unit. So I am limited to something that's that size, 15 by 30, fits in these modules, and is square with I can't put another paint rack like that because I've got nowhere. Got nothing to put on top of it. I can't put anything on top of that, and I can't build. So another one of these units, but with 2 drawers, not 3, under there. Another one under there, and that'll be me fine then. That should work nicely. Now I've got to change all the focus again, haven't I? Oh. Let's have a look. So yeah, that's the beauty of the Hobby Zone stuff. It is wonderful stuff, but when it comes to paint racks, I'm dropping my glass. When it comes to paint racks, you are limited because you can't put anything on top. So it's not ideal. But yeah, if I get some of the double drawer units, they should be absolutely fine. Pascal Lever says he found it too expensive getting decals done and bought his own decal printer. You can print decals yourself. You can do them yourself. Get some decal paper. For one-off things, it can. If you do it regularly, it can actually work out a bit of a money saver. Downside is, of course, you can't print white unless you've got an Alps printer, which are no longer manufactured, and cartridges for them can cost a fortune because they're no longer manufactured. You can't print white. You can get white decal paper, but it's kind of a workaround. It's still a bit of a pain in the ass. So there are limitations. If it's a one-off thing, like for me with the Shanghai Dragons, I needed the water slide decals, It's a one-off thing. I might never need to have decals made for myself again. I might never need custom decals again. So there's no point at all me trying to do it myself, because I haven't got a printer, so I'd have to buy a printer and then buy the stuff, and it's like, I only want one sheet. Whereas it's cheaper for me just to pay somebody to make them. If I started doing it all the time, though, then yeah, it can actually be worth it, because you end up with a decent printer, and you're going to use it for other stuff as well. Oki's printers are able to print white, says Pascal. Ooh, okay, didn't know that. They need to be laser, though. Stop bumping. I think they're best as laser. I don't know if it's laser or bubble jack. I can't remember which ones they are now. If they print white, that's cool. Doodaloo. David Butch, that model, says, sneaking back into the man cave with a plate full of barbecue. Ooh, yes. Yeah, but no, thank you for the link, Lynn. I appreciate it. I'll have a look at the rulers and stuff. But yeah, that's the thing with the paint stands. You can't put anything on top of them. I think I've already done that part. How are we doing now? Beyond Hope says, Pascal, I've got an Alps printer, uses the same micro dry cassettes as the Oki, if you can find them now. Oh, yes, it's a special Oki white laser printer. Cool. In that case, you're sorted. Get doing decals for everybody else and making a profit. I did find one guy in the UK that did some decals for me. I needed some white decals, and he said, I can do white decals. And he said a lot of other things as well about, told me all about, Alps printers and stuff, and he's a nice enough guy. And apparently he makes decals for royal vehicles and things like that, and he does full-size decals for full-size vehicles and all this kind of other stuff that wasn't interesting to me at all. And bigged himself up. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll pay you some money for these white decals. It took him 6 months, and when I got them, they were kind of bish. They were just, the quality was bish. I'm like, wow, really? You're telling me that you create all the vinyls and decals for the Royal Fleet of vehicles, and you just this is what you're sending me? And they were like a foot thick, and they were not great quality, and they didn't really work as decals, and they were horrible. Yeah, so. Oh, it's just started raining outside. Yay! Might cool down a bit now. Now you can see here I am using a knife to trim off these mould lines, purely because there's some situations where you want the tiny tip of a knife just to get into some small recesses. I still don't like using a knife though to get rid of mould lines, because it's just nowhere near as clean. It's too scratchy, and you can end up with scratches and scuffs that you then have to try and sand out. Which is a pain in the ass. Pascal says he's planning to make a website for it. Currently planning to make them €15 per print, including shipping. Awesome. Awesome. I should keep your details in mind then, should I need any other decals. But that's the thing for me, because I have got a printer, and I very rarely will need custom decals anyway. And for when I do want to do something unusual, I can, especially with this Gunpla, you can usually find stuff anyway. It's already done. So, but yeah, if it was something I need to do regularly, then I might invest in a printer and do my own. But just normal inkjet printers and stuff, or laser printers, unless you're like Pascal and you've got a proper one that can do white, you're going to get decent little decals, but they're not going to be, we're not talking cartograph here. If you're printing your own on your HP 75 quid from Argos, LaserJet or whatever. So, yes. But then you see, if Pascal starts doing it, that's me not having to then order stuff from the States then. Ooh, I think we might have some thunder. Yes. Kick ass. Thunder times. James Chapman says, Pascal, could you possibly help me out, please? Yes. But the trick is, with anything like that, any kind of like custom decals, anything like that, if you're not doing it for yourself, you want somebody to get some for you, you need something to make the decal from. So in the case of the decals for that vehicle, that car, you're going to need to find a high resolution scan of the decal sheet. that theoretically Pascal could just print out. If it's a high resolution scan that's, you know, I mean very high quality, then Pascal can just print it out and there you go, bang, it should be as good as the originals. Of course, if it's a little tiny JPEG off the internet, no, that's probably not going to work. Pascal says this is the printer I have, and then realizes he can't post links. Yes, I'm afraid only mods can post links. I'm afraid if you want to I don't know how you're going to do it. I'll say Chris can post links because Chris is in. Or Dave's in as well. Dave can post links. If you want to just type out what it is, Pascal, and then maybe Chris or Dave can find a link to it. Great, might get rain and thunder here in Bristol, says Eon's car. It might not be thunder, I can't quite tell. We do live near Manchester Airport, so it could just be a plane burping. Let's have a look. JS Hader says, Fox, what are you working on? Primaris Marines? Yes, I'm working on issue 29 of Warhammer Conquest, which is Space Marine Officers, for which I have an Intercessor Sergeant, a Hellblasters, because I've already built some Intercessors and Hellblasters, and some Inceptors, so I've got, and some Space Marines, so I've got a Sergeant for the Intercessors, I've got a Hellblaster Sergeant to go with those guys, I've got the Space Marine Captain that I'm working on now, and I've got the Inceptor Sergeant to go with the Inceptors that I've built. So I'm just working my way through slowly. Like I said earlier on, I am trying to get myself up to date with just the building part of Warhammer Conquest. Because I've not been able to do any work on it for ages. I haven't had time. And doing those like Let's Build and Paint episodes takes a long time and I haven't had time at all. So if I can just at least get these things built, at least I can, you know, build them on a Warhammer Sunday. That is his Leggingtons done, I think. Lovely, lovely. I don't think I've got rid of the seam line, the mould lines enough that Si wouldn't still have a little throbby vein on the side of his head. But I think they'll pass muster. Pascal says I will post it in the Discord now. Cool. If you aren't a member of the Boom... oh, that's right. I need to post it up for you, don't I? If you want to see that, let me just get the link. Hang on. The Discord. There is a Model Makers Boom Hut Discord. I'll put the link in chat for you now. It's there. It's open to everyone. It's open to everyone. You don't have to be a member of the Model Makers Boom Hut to join it. But it's just a Discord channel for people to hang out and talk about models and have fun, basically. So, yeah. In terms of the Boom Hut, Pascal, you can... because obviously you're looking at doing it as a service, you can't post that up in the Boom Hut because obviously there's a no selling rule in the Boom Hut. You can, of course, post a link up saying, hey, anybody who wants to print their own decals, here's a good printer. But then you kind of shooting yourself in the foot there, so I wouldn't post it in the Boom Hut. But you can put it in the Discord. The Discord's fine. Little fiddly seam lines on the head. How often do you need to replace your sanding sticks? Some of these are several years old, to be honest. This one is one of these, but it's quite old, and therefore it's not quite as rough anymore as this one. But it just means it's another intermediate step now between that and polishing. So even when they get a bit old, they've still got some use to them. There's no real hard and fast rule. When they stop doing what they're meant to do, it's probably a good time. But don't necessarily throw them away. If you take a 1200 grit sanding stick and you use it quite a lot, it may wear away. But brilliant, now you've got it's gone from a 1200 grit stick to maybe a 3000 grit stick. So still keep it, you've just made it smoother and it's got a finer grit. See? Keep things. Always a good idea. Do. I hate doing the seam lines on heads, I'll be honest about that. Because I have to use a knife for a lot of these because they are really tiny. They're quite annoying. Because you can't get the blade in. I've got to use a modelling knife to do it, and then that makes little scratches in the head, and it's like, oh. Aviad Madar's in. Hey Aviad. Welcome, dude. Better late than never. Dude, it's nearly 5 o'clock. Good God, I've not done any stickers or anything yet. Yeah, I'm not doing a good job of sanding this head. Or cleaning up this head, sadly. Because I'm having to use the blade, but it's putting little tiny scratches that I can't then sand out. Without getting rid of all the other details. Do. So I trust you are all well anyway. I'm trying to think of any other news that I can impart to you. What else has been going on? Fox, says Aviad, I got the real great Sazabi in the mail today. No pressure to finish it in time. Hey, listen, I'm under pressure to finish mine in time, so I've just given up worrying about it now. I'm just getting on with it. And trust me, I don't think George will be finished. George, who set the group build for the Sazabi, he's not going to finish his on time. Let's just be honest, none of us are going to finish on time. It's not going to happen. Plus, George has got like 25 of them now. Also, I don't think it was thunder. I think it was just general rumblings. Gainer X01 says Tyranids have loads of mould lines across the rib detail. It's a pain to clean up. Yeah, that's where a scribing tool comes in handy. It's hard to show on a webcam because a webcam's crap, but if you've got any kind of ribbed detail, like, you know, you've got like ribbed pattern like that, and there's a mould line going right across it, what you can do is get a scribing tool. Doesn't matter whether it's chisels or this Tamiya one, any scribing tool, not a modelling knife, because a knife blade is too untidy and it'll make a mess. Get yourself a scribing tool, like I say, either modelling chisels or this is the Tamiya scriber. Make sure it's a scriber, because all you do is you get the scribing tool and you run it along the gap very gently, no pressure, and then you go back and do it again, and you do it again, and what that does is it gradually scrapes away the mould line from that gap. And this works. I use this. This is my personal tool, my personal favourite, the Tamiya one. I use this on plasma weapons, where you've got the heat coil, the plasma coils at the top with the ribbing, like this one here. Hang on, let me see if I can zoom in. I'm not zooming in today. Where's the zooming tool? That's gone. Hang on. There we go. I know it's a webcam. I know it's crappy quality. You probably can't see, but the little ribbed lines on the plasma weapon there, to clean off the mould line. Again, all I did was got the scribing tool and just gently ran it. Is that in shot? Ran it in between the gaps of each little rib. Off camera as well. Ran it between the lines very gently to take away the little seam line in the middle of the ribs. And then once you've done that, you just need to go in very, very gently and sand over the top of the ribs very, very carefully to get rid of the mould on the outside. It's usually better actually to sand the top of the ribs first to get rid of the mould line on the top, and then go back in, then go in with your scribing tool and work it between the ribs. Because if you do the between bit first and then sand the top of the ribs, you're going to have to go and scribe it again because it'll soften the edge. So sand it down first very gently and then re-scribe the little gaps with your scribing tool or chisels, whichever you prefer. But don't use a modelling knife, because modelling knives have got pointy blades that kind of gouge up the plastic and you get rough it's kind of that shape. The trench it digs is that shape, and it's rough and it's scratchy, and if you slip, it's horrible. A chisel or a scribing tool is basically a square-shaped blade, and it makes a square-shaped trough in the plastic, and it's a much neater, much cleaner way of doing it. And you'd put on no pressure, just drag it along, keep dragging it over the same line, and it will gradually clean out that recess. But do the sand off the top bit first, and then go in. So look. I've had my Fox, did you catch the new Not a Dreadnought they showed yesterday? I haven't had a chance to watch those yet at the moment. I've only had a real sort of literal 5-second glance at some of the new Space Marines. I was saying earlier on, I'm not sure about the new Space Marines. Are they not Primaris because they've got the old style helmets? It's slightly modernised, but the old style sort of, you know, church shaped mouth like that. I was never a big fan of that. I prefer the Primaris helmets, but yes, I'm not sure if they're actually Primaris or not. But it's the only bit I saw. I stopped blocking the camera. Cockboy said, what brand of super glue do you guys use for resin models? I've got whatever one I can get at the time. I've got some Zap at the moment. Slow Zap and Quick Zap, I think it is. What have I got? Oh no, I've got some Slow Zap Thick, and I've got some Bob Smith Industries Instacure. Oh, Bob Smith says butcher that model. Yeah, Bob, that one's actually... Oh no, it's not gone hard. Yeah, I've got some BSI stuff, Bob Smith Industries. I get them from eModels. emodels.co.uk, your one-stop shop for your traditional model making needs. It's good to have thick and thin. Thick stuff gives you a few more seconds working time than thin. Thin is like welded, done, there you go. I have some Gunpla scribing tools that never thought of using them like that. Thanks for the pro tip. Yeah, that's what the perfect they are for. That they are for scribing in little panel lines. So anything like reinforcing a ribbed detail, absolutely brilliant for that. But yeah, remember, just sand off the top of the ribs very gently, just to get rid of any seam line on the top. You might find a file is a bit less aggressive, but that'll soften everything down, and then go with your scribing tool to rescribe the paddle lines. Think of them as just tiny panel lines. Fox, can I get a happy birthday song? Hey, George. Everybody ready? We're going to sing happy birthday to George. Are you ready? Actually, this isn't copyright now, so we can sing it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to George. Happy birthday to you. There you go. Silly little happy birthday. Yeah, I assume it's your birthday. You better had me after I've sung that. Happy birthday, George, I assume. Welcome. Did wonder where you were. George says, hi, JS, have you had Dave Skullfish? I've started everybody saying Skullfish like that now, even in text. George is in. The show can carry on now. I like the fact George is turning into Carl, because he turns up just as I'm about to do the stickers. I see what you did there, George. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I don't know why I'm singing in a pretend Spanish accent. I don't know. Happy birthday, dear George. Jorge. Happy birthday to you. Yes. So we're assuming... Oh, it's tomorrow. Oh. Why, Yoda? But happy birthday, dude. Right. See how much work I've done today? Should we see how much work I've done so far today? I've done them. I've done that. I've done that. Wow, is that all I've done? I've cleaned up 4 things. Is that all I've done today? Holy crap on a stick. This isn't even Warhammer Sundays. This is just talking for 3 hours Sundays. This is rubbish. That's literally all I've done today. Wow, Fox, you suck. I've still only got 1 piece left to do. Right, I'll do this bit very quickly. My Mondays are always swamped, so I won't see you all, he says. True, there is that. Well, happy birthday, George. Happy birthday for tomorrow. What are you now, 17, 18 or something? Yeah, congratulations, happy birthday and all that. I hope you get many good, sweet gifts and things. What have you got planned for your birthday? What are your birthday plans? Are you having a special meal? Are you going out on the town? You're throwing the kids at a sitter and going out on the town, get on the lash, have a few frosty beverages. What is your birthday plan? JSI does a get off your butt, Fox. Well, I could, but then you'd just be looking at an empty workbench with nothing going on because I'd be off doing something else. Oops. Besides, that's what my butt's for, just sitting on it. It's what it's perfectly designed for. Anyway, I'm too busy keeping you guys company and telling you things and dropping knowledge bombs. That's what I'm here for. See, I've always felt, and I could be wrong, and I count on you guys to tell me when I'm just not doing what you want, kind of thing. But nobody's ever told me this. But I know my own experience, right? When I watch somebody do a live stream of something like this, there's two types. There's the type of like model making or creative, arty, whatever it might be. There's the kind of creatively stuff where somebody is doing something, be it making a model or painting a picture or crafting something, and they don't really interact with the audience at all. You just see them drawing or painting or building or whatever. And they might have a couple of people in the chat that do moderation or something. Or they might respond to an odd comment here and there, very occasionally. But for the most part, there's not a lot of interaction going on between the person and the people chatting in the chat. I'm not like that. I'd much rather that the whatever I'm doing take a back seat to just interacting with you guys and dropping the knowledge bombs and having a good old chinwag and just a bit of fun, basically. Because this is my chance to hang out with my mates, and for you guys to hang out with your mates in the chat. That's kind of what we do. So if you come to my streams expecting me to do a lot of work, then you're in the wrong stream, son. Yeah, I'd much rather the focus be on you than what I'm doing. Besides, it's a crappy webcam. You're never going to see that much anyway. That's the downside doing anything small like these. You can't see that much, and when you do zoom in, it looks like absolute bish. Modraka says, "How was the foot, Fox?" It's fine, actually. A little bit stiff, but other than that, I don't think I broke my toes. I think the nurse was wrong. Because within a few days, they were achy, but I was walking around okay, and I had my sneaker on okay, and a few days ago I was able to drive the car, so it's like, I don't think I broke my toes. I think maybe I bruised them, or I bruised if I didn't bruise the bone, I bruised, pulled some muscles, but I think she was a bit over dramatic with my toe situation. Let's have a look. George says for his birthday he's going to work and then he's going to the downtown aquarium. Yes, fish creatures, sea creatures. You can look at fish and shrimp and water snails and sea creatures. Shrimp, they are the idiots of the sea. Yeah, that sounds cool, actually. The not going to work bit, that sounds a bit grumpy, but you got to go to work. But then you're going to the aquarium, that sounds cool. I like fish. Fish are cool. Where's my thing for my knife? I need to cover up my... There it is. And now I've disappointed you now. I've just removed the potential for stabbity. Sorry. The battle suit is cool, but it's just a loader from Aliens with guns. Yeah, it does. But then anything like that, it's just supposed to be like a dreadnought with the front cover removed, isn't it, really? So it doesn't matter what you do, it's going to look like the thing from Aliens. Anyway, right, let's do some stickery giveaways, shall we? Are we ready for some stickery giveaways? As always, we're going to give 3 stickers away. I've picked out this week. I've got one of mine, one of Goblin's, and one from Colin. So one at Festa67's workshop. As always, by this point in the show, there's a lag between the video that you're looking at with your eyes and the chat, which you're typing with your fingers. So before we do anything, I need you to hit the refresh button on your browser and drag the slider right across the right side. So refresh and drag. Refresh and drag. Thy creator says, drive the car. Does that mean when the stickers are leaving, or is it another few months of wait? Might still be a while. I've got to pay for my car MOT in a month or two, so I've got to save me pennies for paying for the car. So, yeah. For those that don't know, I'm going to be giving some stickers away. If you've never won one before, don't expect to be getting yours anytime soon. I do have a whole mess of stickers that I haven't yet sent out. And these go back months. And there's some badges and things as well. I haven't sent these out yet because I never get a chance to go to the post office. I very rarely get a chance to go to the post office. The UK ones, when I get some stamps, I can bump them in the mailbox at the end of the street, the post box. The non-UK ones, I have to go to the post office and post them. And so they'll get sent out eventually, but you may be waiting a significant amount of time. But don't panic, you've not been forgotten. Now, as always, if you do win a sticker today, I'm going to ask a question. First person to get the question right in chat will win the sticker. As always, just because you're first on your computer screen or wherever you are watching this doesn't mean you're actually first in the real world. I see the chat, and the chat here is how YouTube actually sees the chat. So it's whoever's first, not on your chat, because you'll always see yourself first. Whoever's first here on YouTube. So just because you're first on your screen, don't worry if you don't win because you're not first in the real chat. You might not know. I'm going to write a word on the back of each sticker. Let's think of some words. We have. I think of some words. We have blimpage. We have grubby. I'm going to run out of silly words at some point. And we have, I see Paul at Team Inept turns up just to put Mankini in the chat. Shut up, Paul. And we have, if you've said Mankini, I'm going to put sheer heresy. There you go. That's how you spell Mankini. Sheer heresy. Yes. Too late. So we've got blimpage, grubby, and sheer heresy. So model making guru, one for Goblin, and one for Festa 67's workshop. Speedy creates, I'm still waiting for a sticker for when he was a model making acolyte. Yes, when I was a model making journeyman. Right, so we need to ask some questions and get you to answer. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to ask a question, and whoever gets it first in chat right first is the winner. I'll just make sure I'm on live chat and not top chat. God, I wish they'd just make it live chat by default because that would kind of make far too much sense. Sorry, YouTube, wouldn't it? There we go. I'm on live chat. Right. So let's have a think. I've got to think of some questions now. Thinking of questions. I can't think of any. Let's have a think. Got to think of questions. The question is in my brain. I just haven't found it yet. Okay, here we go. Right, so first question. When I was doing my Borderlands thing, Ridge Runner, I can't remember how it's called, the Ridge Runner. I used ink that's named after a certain country. Which country? Go. Ink is named after a country. What is the country? George Gabriel says, Sweetie. Lynn says, what's the difference between top and live chat? Live chat is every single comment, Lynn. Top chat is random, not every live comment. Osric 9000 is the first with India. Yes, it's India Ink. Did it say India Ink on there? Yes, India Ink. There you go. India Ink. So well done, Osric 9000. Please tell me in words in the chat which of the stickers you would like. Gross Model says Dr. P. It's like, what does PH... Is it Dr. Phil? Dr. Phineas? Dr. Phoebus? Dr... I don't know. Festa, please. There you go. Nice one. So Osric gets some sheer heresy. Now, if you do win, if you've not won before, all you need to do when you win a sticker is send me an email to fox@modelmakingguru.com. The email address is there with your name and address, so I know where to send the sticker. And put it in the title. Put in the title that you've won a sticker. If you're already waiting for stickers, send me an email anyway. If I get 5 emails from you, if I've got 5 emails in my inbox from you, I know I owe you 5 stickers. So I use the inbox as my to-do list. That's well done, Osric. You've got yourself a Festus sticker. Bonus points there for the GGM reference there, Fox. GGM reference. What's a GGM reference? I'm going to kick myself when you tell me. I've forgotten what actually. How did I even ask the question? Oh yes, no. I actually no. Sorry, no. I get the reference. I get it. Yes. India. Right. So we've got 2 more stickers. Yeah. 2 more stickers. Let's have a think now. Think of a question. Think of a question in my mind. Got to scoop it out of my brain, and the question is, okay, ready? Team Inept says, oh, it was definitely a reference. Whew, thank God for that. Right, so very quick question then. See if you've been paying attention in the chat. Everybody ready? Whose birthday is tomorrow from chat? Go. Redland 08 straight in with George. George, I'm disappointed you didn't get your own question. George is like not even there yet. And it was your birthday. Wow. Somehow everybody else managed to answer before George. I don't understand that. Redland, well done. Redland gets in with George. Would you like Model Making Guru or Goblin Gaming Buddy? Which one would you prefer? At this time, George hasn't even answered yet. You could have actually answered that and got a sticker for yourself, George. You weren't exempt from that. He's not even answered yet. Has he fallen asleep? Have you gone to sleep, George? Yes, Redland, let me know which sticker you want. Have I got a Scaly Models one? Oh, you make him... Oh, do you know? You're going to make me write another word now, aren't you? Do you know? Just because it's you, George. Just because it's you. Just because it's you. There's always one awkward one, isn't there? Always one awkward one. Redland 08. There we go. I'll just write the word but on that one. So Redland, well done. You've won yourself that sticker that wasn't there a minute ago. It's amazing, that, isn't it? It's picked up me a little bit of tape. Oh, hang on. See what you've done now, Redland 08. I've just scratched that as well. Let me get you a different stick. Oh. Right. I'm going home. Why, yada. That can go on the back of my iPad or something. So we'll try that again. Redland 08. But there we go. Send me an email, Redland. fox@modelmakingguru.com. Make sure to put in the title you've won yourself and a sticker. I'll put that to one side. That means we've still got 2 stickers to give away. But what I need to do first is, because that completely removed my little marker on the screen, on the workbench. Where's the middle of the screen? Roughly there. There we go. That'll do. Right. It's my mark. So we still got 2 stickers. Redland says, thanks, put it with the one I won last week. That doesn't work that way. Mail me anyway, dude. If I've only got 1 email from you, I'll only send you 1 sticker because I'll be like, I go through each email one by one. There's a sticker for Len. So send me another one anyway. Fox, you pronounced it wrong again. It's Scally Model, says David Butcher, that model. Yes. Yeah, so send me another email anyway, Redland. Because I will basically say, how many emails have I got for you? 6. I've got 6 stickers. There you go, bang. And then if I get excess to that or less than that, then everything goes to pot and I go a bit panicky. So just send me a mail anyway. Right, so we've still got 2 more stickers in that case. I've got to think of an extra question now. Oh, see what you've done. Right. Beckstorm is in. Just got here afternoon all. We've still got 2 stickers left. So there you go. Right, so think of a question. Think of a question. I should just prepare each week and come up with some questions, shouldn't I? I'm just useless. Right, so I have to think of a question. And the question is my brain's just stopped. My brain has literally just stopped. Literally just stopped. My brain has just gone on vacation. Brilliant, fantastic. Right, I'm looking around the room to think of something to ask. Okay. I mentioned this earlier on, so this is how good your attention was. You ready? This says, it's a contrast paint. It says ultramarines blue. It's not ultramarines blue, it's a brown colour. Which contrast paint is actually in this bottle? Go. It's not ultramarines blue. I'm treasuring this because it's mislabeled in the factory, so it might be worth millions of pounds. I need the specific paint name, thy creator. Ateris says snakebite leather. Well done. That is the right answer. Yes, it is snakebite leather. Well done, Ateris. Not a bad return to form for you, seeing as you've been away for so long and you come back. Munge green, says Osric. So Ateris, well done. Would you like Model Making Guru or Goblin Gaming? Which one would you like? See, that was a callback to earlier on in the stream. See if you're paying attention. Only just sit here quietly now and look at a terrace. Goblin Gaming, well done. A terrace. So yeah. So you need to send me an email, fox@modelmakingguru.com, just to say that you won a sticker. Grubby a terrace. That doesn't really work, does it? It's a bit of an insult, that. So yeah, send me an email, say you won a sticker. I'll put that to one side. And the last one. The last one is the Model Making Guru sticker. This will be a number on my hand. You know it's going to be a number on the hand. So, let me think of a number. Okay. Right, so we're going to think of a number now. So, written upon my hand, verily, on the back of my very delicate twee hand, is a number between 36 and 46. Go. What number is on the back of my hand? Between 36 and 46. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 42. Thy creator is spot on. Every time we ask a question, whenever we do a giveaway question on any of our live shows, every time before we ask the question, somebody always types in the answer 42 in the chat before we even ask the question. So when the answer is actually 42, it's like the 35th answer in that people put in. Honestly, you guys, I don't know. Thy creator, well done. You have won yourself another sticker. Send me an email, fox@modelmakingguru.com, and I will add that to the pile, to the stash, and get them sent out at some point. They will get sent out eventually. I just need to A, get to the post office, and B, make sure it's appointed time when I've not got like glasses to buy or a car MOT to pay and things like that. Always at a bad time. So there we go, they're all ready. So thank you for everybody. Good luck. No, congrats to everybody who won another sticker or a sticker. Well done. More stickers next week. There we go. Right, let's have a look and see. Edward Leonard says 373-828-404-142-43-444-546. Sorry, it was 547. You're one off. Never mind, dude. Also, I suddenly realised that I didn't win the lottery last night, as we haven't had comment from Dad saying we won the lottery, so I'm not a millionaire. Oh well. Sigh. Right, so get something done today, can't we? I can get this guy glued together at least, for the love of God. Now, This is a chap with a long flowy garment, which is going to mean I can't assemble him completely out of the gate, because I need to look at access to inside the cloak. So what I need to do is assemble his torso and legs. I'm thinking, looking at this, I might be okay to build him in his entirety, or I'll try that sentence again. Build him in his entirety, but not glue him to the base, and that might still give me access. So, what I shall do is I shall assemblate the torsoings and the leglons. So we've got the torso there. Leg. Which leg is that? Is that leg or the other leg? That's... I don't know which is which. That's that leg. Now this is going to go on the back there. So his torso will attach thusly. And I reckon with his leg on... Get your leg on. If I put the leg there like that, you see, oops. Bleh. For the Primaris captain, I painted his cape and backpack separately, says Eon's car. Well, I probably will do, but I'm just seeing how much I can get away with without doing that. I don't mind a little bit of a challenge. But I don't want to have... I want to just be able to get things built and then sat waiting. I don't want to have to be having multiple bits sitting around if I can avoid it, or minimise it as much as possible. Because the idea of this is just to get everything built and done and ready. I think I can actually glue them together, but just not glue them on the base. I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. Because I think I can get... I can get around... I should be able to... I mean, what I need to do is basically paint his cape first. And then the rest of his armour. I think. I don't know for sure. Be handy if I could just... get in there. Right, you stay there. Let me see that leg from that side. Because even if I do it this way, I've still got to fart about with a separate backpack. I can get into his armour there, no problem. For this side, I can easily get to the cape. With that leg there, though, can I still get to the cape? I think it'll be alright. I don't think that's going to be too hard to paint. You're not going to see under the crotch part anyway, because that's going to be under the base. I think I can quite easily... Oops. Now that was unlucky. I dropped that on the floor and it missed my foot by inches. There was nearly foot stabity. Oh. Yeah, I think I can assemble him. And when he's built, I'll prime him, paint the inside of the cape first. No problem. And as for the outside of the cape, yeah. I think painting the cape first when he's done and then painting the armour will not be a problem. At the very least, getting the base colours down anyway. That's not going to be a problem at all. That nub, of course, will be a problem. Whoa! Big, filthy, dirty nub. Get away. Big, filthy nub. Get off. So I think we're good to go. I'm not going to be gluing him to his base. So what I'll need to do is drill a hole in his yon foot. And for that, I shall do that now. Doodle-doo-doo. Now, what I do for drilling feet and things, I don't use my Games Workshop thing. I have a specific drill bit for doing the feats. Oops, Skullfish. Boom shakalaka. Thank you very much, Skullfish. Boom shakalaka. Good night, guys. See you next week, says Thy Creator. Thanks for coming in, Thy Creator. Thank you, thank you. Yes, thank you very much for that skullfish. Skullfish. That's taken a little bit of Kevin's health off. Remember, of course, we are playing the stream boss battle. If you want to potentially win 300 to 500 quid's worth of goods, good stuff from Games Workshop or Forge World, you need to be doing your super chats and your tips to get Kevin's health down. If you get him to 0, you win all the money raised through the super chats and tips. When Kevin won, when Simon Reynolds won, it was 499 quid. And remember, if you're in the UK or the EU, most countries in the EU, you can also order through Goblin Gaming and save 20% off your Games Workshop stuff. So you can get even more for the same money. Now, what I'm going to be able to do, build him and get him painted up, but without being on the base. So what I need to do first and foremost is fairly simply plonk a cocktail stick in his foot. So I've got this nice heel bit here. His foot's going to be flat on the ground. So I may as well drill a hole. Try and drill a hole. Try and drill a hole in the bottom of his foot. I can't do it there because it's not going to let the drill bit do anything. So I'm going to drill it here. So let's just start a hole going. I'm going to do it at an angle because I want it to go into the leg, not sticking out the top of the foot. How is that going to... Let's do it this way then. Let's just check. Hang on. I need to make sure his foot is going to be flat on the ground. Yes. Right, so I'm going to go for the heel because at least I can guarantee it's going to go... Basically, the drill bit's going to go up like this. Whenever you're drilling into the feet to mount a figure, make sure you're drilling into the leg and not like into... I could do it there, but it just come out the top of his foot, and that would be kind of ass. So I'm just going to drill a little hole here. Get this done first. Don't like this drill bit. This pin vise. I really don't like this pin vise. It's not as nice and comfortable to hold. I thought I'd gone through something then, but it's just the bit popping through there. It's not as nice as comfortable to hold, and it doesn't grip very well. As you've just seen there, the drill bit pops out. So we'll keep on going. Don't need to drill a long way in. Just long enough. And the reason I use this specific drill bit is because it is about the right size for a cocktail stick. Beckstorm says, careful, stability times incoming, depending on where you choose to drill. Nah, I'll be fine. Yeah, I don't need to drill that far. Just, a few millimetres. Because that now is about the right size for... And cocking a tail stick and gefarten. Got a bit of the cocktail, not all the way, but a bit where it's not fully as wide as it needs to be, not full width, not full diameter. That will not fit in there. I may have used the wrong drill bit. Oh, it might be a bit too big now. Oh, never mind. Oh well, I've used the wrong drill bit. That wasn't quite the right drill. It must be the right drill bit. That's not right. Something's amiss here. Let's go full width cocktail stick. Surely that's the right one. There we go. That's a bit better. Right, so I'm going to be a little bit deeper. What we're going to do is, when he's assembled, quite simply, I'm just going to attach the cocktail stick into the bottom of his foot with a bit of PVA glue. And then that will be mounted onto one of my little corks. So that'll get glued on there, and then it'll be mounted onto there like that. So we'll get him built, and I'll get him mounted onto that. And then once that's been done, he's on there. He can be painted quite easily. I can get into the cloak, and then when he's all done and finished, I can glue him to the base, and then we can get him the base textured. So let's get him assemblated first. So I've got my Tamiya extra thins. Foot surgery ow, says Lynn Dipple. Thankfully it missed my foot just about. Careful. I've had eye muscle surgery, says Paul Di Tommaso. Well, that sounds Rather unpleasant. But hopefully it ends up good. So we need to attach the... There's the torso. There's the torso. And to attach the legs. Gentlemen, attach your legs. That's this one first with the bit of string on the back. That goes there. Now you see here, I've noticed that I spent time sanding and getting the scribing tool on the rubber undersuit on the back of his knee. That's actually going to be inside the cloak where you'll never ever see. But I still did it. Because why not? Because that's that bit. Let us attach, for the sake of argument, the other leg. I'm always a bit dubious of these legs that don't actually have any kind of peg and socket. They just kind of fit together. Because you never feel 100% confident that you've got it right. You usually have. It's usually absolutely fine. Oops. And then you drop it, of course, and everything goes wrong. That's that one. Give that a moment. We have the head bonds. Head bonds. I've got Mr. Nosybonk music in my head. Oh, god damn it. I thought I got rid of that. There's a little sort of funny shaped cut here. His head's supposed to go in a certain way, but I guess I'll have to stick to that particular way. Glue on the head bonds. Oh, I quite like the way his face is angled. I did get some glue on his face. That's a bit rubbish. Oh well, never mind. Hopefully it won't be too visible. Beyond Hope said something and then retracted it. Oh, we'll never know now. We will never know. Down a little bit here. Got some slight contact between that pipe and the cloak. And we've got some contact down the back there. Some slight contact between the leg and there. Yeah, so I can quite easily get to the inside of that cloak. That's not a problem at all. As long as I paint the cloak first, at least with the base colours, get the base. I assume this is going to be red, so mephiston red on the outer there and a creamy colour on the inside. Then paint all the armour, and then we can go back in with shades and things like that. I think we're going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I'm going to just put some glue on his foot to smooth off all the rough bits from the drilling. That's there. I did get a little tiny bit of glue on his face, which is a bit of a shame because it's going to soften up the little vent details on his face, but never mind, it's just one figure. It's not the end of the world. Gross Model says Dremel when I was doing the little hole. Yes, Chris likes to drill out tiny holes with enormous drills. If you didn't watch the other day when the other week when Chris drilled out a weapon barrel on his Mega Knobs with an actual electric Dremel, I was like, everybody watching was just like, it was an uncomfortable experience. Let's just put it that way. There was a lot of clenching going on amongst the people watching his stream. It was as if a million voices suddenly, a million butts suddenly clenched in terror and were suddenly silenced. That's just forget it. That was a terrible joke. It didn't even work in my head. Butcher that model, Dave says, Fox, any tips on painting yellow? I may have done a silly thing. Yeah, you painted yellow on black, didn't you? Yes, if you're painting a yellow, it kind of depends. Well, this applies no matter what brand of yellow, what brand of paint you're using. But if you're going to paint yellow, yellow is always a pain in the ass colour. I mean, it's a real serious pain in the ass colour. I might leave these arms off, actually. Should I put the arm on? Don't know. Yeah, the worst thing you can do is try and paint yellow over anything that's not a white or a light colour, because yellow is very transparent. And if you paint it over something bright or dark, let's go for some thick glue, then you're going to have a nightmare time. So for example, if you've got, say, a black primer and you paint yellow over the top of that, it's going to look horrible. It's going to look like just like you've painted a glaze over the black. It's going to take you a billion coats to get a solid yellow colour. So what you want to do is, no matter what brand of paint you're using, if it's acrylic water-based paint, no matter what brand, whether it's Games Workshop or Vallejo or anything like that, you want to make sure that before you paint on the yellow colour that you want, you use an appropriate base colour underneath. So for example, let's imagine, I'll use Citadel paints as an example, but the same would apply just with different brands of paints. For example, let's say I wanted to paint this cloak yellow. I wanted to paint it in Uriel yellow, which is a real bright yellow colour, but it's very transparent. If I prime this black and then painted Uriel, it'd take me a trillion coats and I'd pull my hair out and it would look dark and horrible. What you need to do is use a suitable base coat. So for example, what I would do is I would use, if I wanted to be just a nice yellow and not particularly bright, I could use Avalanche Sunset, which is a base paint. It's a very dense pigmented paint, so it's not very transparent. So over black primer, for example, just use black as an extreme example. Over black primer, I could paint Avalanche Sunset, 2 coats of that. That would make it a dull, dark yellow colour, kind of that sort of yellow colour, but a bit duller. And over the Avalanche Sunset, which is a very opaque colour covering up the black, I can then go with the Uriel yellow. Take 2 or 3 coats because it's really transparent, but it would be transparent, and underneath the yellow I'm painting, the Uriel yellow, would be Avalanche Sunset, which is also a yellow colour. So it would kind of allow the yellow paint to be transparent, but underneath it you're just still seeing yellow. So that would be one way of doing it. You could paint it over white. That would also give you a very bright yellow colour. So if you know you're gonna paint something a bright colour like yellow, you can either prime the thing white first, or if you want to prime the area white, or use a white base paint. If you're using Citadel, I know Dave, you're using Citadel paints, so you could use a white base colour. Basically, you just want to make sure that whatever is underneath the yellow is not offensive to the yellow. So you're not black, not bright red. Well, you could do bright red. It would, whatever is underneath is going to show through, and if it's black, it's going to look terrible. If it's brown, that might work. But you really want it to be, ideally, another yellow. If you want it just to look like yellow, another yellow colour, but a paint that's thick. So if you're in the Citadel world, it's going to be base colours, base paints. Because all the bright yellows are layer paints, so you want to be using a base paint or a suitable primer. You know, a white primer, a light grey primer is kind of neutral, probably about as dark as you want to go. If they still had it, Avalanche Sunset Rattle Can primer, but that's been discontinued. You can use browns, you can use metallics if you want. It's just got to be something that you've got to keep in mind. It will show through, because whites and yellows are a pain in the backside from any brand, because they are kind of transparent. So yeah, that's where you've got to be careful. Now, I don't think I want to glue this arm on, because I want to be able to get to the cloak to paint it. Oops. I can glue the backpack on, that's fine. That arm's up in the air, so I can glue that on, that's no problem. I can glue the backpack on. That won't be a problem. Let's make sure that lines up. Yes. I can glue the backpack on. I'll do that now, because I can still access the inside of the cloakage. A bit of thick cement to start with, just to stick it in place, and then I can go in with the extra thin just to run it down the seam. there. If you're wondering why I use the normal regular Tamiya cement first and then the extra thin, I've explained it before. If it's something where I want to attach something and then have it stay in that place, and it's like load bearing or a heavy component, if I just put an extra thin on there and put that back on, it would just fall off. The regular thick Tamiya cement is stodgy and has a little bit of surface tension to it, so when you stick something on, it'll stay there for a moment, and that gives you time then to go in with the extra thin. It's just purely because extra thin actually has a stronger bond than the regular cement. It just holds that in place for a second while I go and get the other cement. A little bit of contact there as well. But I think what I'm going to do is not, although I'm loath to not completely build him, I can just loosely fit that arm on now and it's not glued in place. But what I can do is easily remove that, because it's kind of held in place by that, which goes into the bottom of his weapon, his little gauntlet bolter. So it's held in place by that. And as I'm painting, I can just paint him and paint him. If I need to take it off, I can do to get at the cloak. So what I can do is, I've got him built, get him primed. The first thing I do is paint the inside of the cloak, the creamy colour, whatever that will be. Paint the outside of the cloak, which I assume is Mephiston red. Then go over the armour, get the armour and everything else painted up in all the base colours. Then I can crack on with the shades. So that is more than doable. So I'm going to loosely attach his arm there. Just dry fit so it stays in place. Now what I need to do is get the old PVAs. So regular PVA glue. I'm trying to shake it, but it's so thick it doesn't go anywhere. I need to get some on this stick. Now this isn't going to be like Paul where I put PVA glue on my workbench. It's so thick and stodgy. It comes out real soft. And just get a load of PVA on the end of the stick. And there we go. Nice ball of PVA. Now it's a little bit of a loose fit, but when you put PVA on it, suddenly it's a nice tight fit. That can stay there for a moment. Now that's going to take a while to dry. It takes, PVA can take hours to dry, but that's fine. Because all I need to do, now he's on there, is mount that into the cork. What I need are, one is not the PVA over, I need to get the pliers. The reason I use pliers is just because it grips to the stick better. Stick him down in there. There we go. Okay, so he's in there. He's going to sit on there quite nicely. I can put him I'll put him down a bit further. There we go. Oops. There we go. So I'll leave him off to one side to stick into place. Once that PVA is dried, he'll be on there rock solid. I can easily access all parts of him because he's up in the air. The cork's not going to get in the way. He's a bit leany to one side, but that's fine. Put that arm back on. So I'll put him away to one side and make sure I need to lean him that way a bit. So I'll rest him against the side of my spray booth. So he's jammed in place. There we go. Oops. Alright, there you are. Just make sure he's propped up. Yeah, that PVA will dry. He'll be stuck on there permanently. Well, not permanently, but he'll be stuck on there. Once he's painted up, I just need to twist him off, and now he's ready to be mounted onto his base then. Some people do that with CA glue. They get like a little bit of sprue or something, or they could get a little bit of CA glue and just mount the stick to inside the hole in his foot. You can do that because you can just snap it off again. But I just found it easy just to use PVA because it guarantees you can remove him no problem. You just twist him off the stick when he's ready to come off. But once that's dry, he'll be on there. I can manhandle him no problem. He can go into storage quite nicely once he's dried. And we'll be ready for painting, priming and painting at some point. So I'm just trying to arrange him now. I'm trying to, he's over the side here and I'm trying to prop him up a little bit. What can I prop him on top of? Hang on, I'm just fiddling. Ignore me. Ignore the man behind the curtain. He's kind of leaning to one side of it, so I want to try and stop that. It's not going to happen. Never mind. I'll just put him there. See what I will do. Get a bit of blue tack. You can't see this, but I'm just kind of sticking him to a blob of blue tack on the side so he's at the right angle. There we go. Yeah, PVA does take a while, so if you're gluing something like that to a base, just put the thing to one side and leave it overnight. Or if not, a good few hours. Just to let it dry. Right, let's have a look. So in reply to Dave's asking question about painting yellow, Zadsa says underpaint it white. Mordraka says you lead Belcher as a base coat. Oh, those are the only two answers. There you go. Quano Man asks Chris at Gross Models if the Encore is using a Dremel to drill out a barrel of a bolter is to use a chainsaw to get rid of a nub. Yeah. Right, so that's him done. So today we've built one dude. I really truly suck at doing these things fast, don't I? I know. It's coming up to 20 to 6. I'm probably going to call it there because it is getting really, really hot in here now, so I need to turn all the lights off. We've kind of done a load today. I haven't done a load, I've done one dude. He is attached and built together, so his base will stay separate to one side. It can be attached to that later. If you are doing Warhammer Conquest, do be aware that these bases, they're not... All this stuff is Chinese moulded. These aren't made in Nottingham, they're moulded in China. Using similar plastic. So the bases do have nubs on them. Don't normally get that on Games Workshop, but the bases do have nubs you'll need to clean off. I'll do that now. Nubs on a base. It's heresy, that is. Normally when you get a base, if there was a nub, it's been removed. Heresy. Sheer heresy, I tell you. Where did you get your Tamir cement bottle holder? This. If Dad was in chat right now, Mike Mountain from Scaly Models, also from Scaly Models, also known as Dad, he makes them just for fun. So he made me that. There's quite a few out there in the wild. So if Dad was in chat right now, yeah, you could ask him. But he's not with us today. So if you hang around, if you join us again next week and you see Dad in chat, he's one of the mods. He'll be here. Just ask him if he can make one for you. He does like he did that as well for me, which is this is my favourite thing in the world because this is brilliant. This is a shade holder, and it can even hold the lid. That's why I love that. It's for holding shades. You can use it on normal sized pots as well. And I have to say this bit did break off, but I just super glued it back on. It's brilliant. It's easy to fix. Oh, Fox. I seen a new thing. Blind boxes of Blood Angel Marines. Okay. 3D printed then, yes, says Stuart Rose. No, he makes these by hand out of plastic card. It's called Dad's Devices. It's just made out of plastic card. Give him, yeah, next time he's in, if you're with us again next week, ask him in chat, because you'll see him in chat. He's a mod. He appears in chat as Dad. Right, so I've got a nub on this one, so I'll clean off this nub very quickly. Terrible nubs on bases, it's ridiculous. Yes, I have enough Space Marines, I think, Dave. I've still got all the blind boxes that Jamie Bone sent me that I've got to make at some point. I've not even had a chance to look at those yet, or to make those yet. So, yes. I think I'm good. Given all the guys I'm going to get from Conquest, I think I'm good for the time being. Stuart Rose says, wow, well done. I don't know what that was for. Well, thank you. Right, so that's that sanded. There we go. So I've built one guy. That was kind of pathetic. I might just get the other one built today. Because what's next? Next up, once we finish these, this will be, of course, issue 29 of the Warhammer Conquest. Issue 30 is Rise of Ruins, which is glue that bit to that bit, that bit to that bit, done. That might fill 3 hours next week. Yeah, and literally it's glue that there, I think that's it. That's it. That's 3 hours work, do you reckon? Glue 2 bits together? Yeah, I don't know. So 3 weeks of work, says Chris. Yeah, thanks very much. Why, yeah, you order? I don't know. Right, so I think, yeah, we're going to call it there, because there's not much more I can do now in the next, 20 minutes. I need to go and think about my tea, my dinner. Although, like I said earlier on, my neighbour at 1 o'clock very kindly shouted me over and gave me a massive tub of chicken curry and a massive tub of rice. So I don't actually need to have any dinner. But I will be hungry later on. Don't forget, of course. Just Django says, I literally fell asleep midstream. Wow, you can sleep through me waffling on. That's quite impressive. I didn't glue my Rise of Ruins. Pieces are interchangeable, says Eon's car. I just don't care that much about them. I'm just going to glue them together and get them painted up, and that'll be it. The thing is with this as well is, I said before, this is this whole Warhammer Conquest project is kind of due to the kind graces of my patron George, who's I'm also doing the Sazabi for. George has very kindly made it me possible to subscribe to the Warhammer Conquest. So when the whole thing is finished and I've got all the Death Guard and all the Space Marines and all the other stuff, we're actually going to split it down the middle. One of us will get the Space Marines, one of us will get the Death Guard, the rest of it we'll figure out. So don't know yet who's having what there. But yeah, I think we'll call it there. Don't forget, of course, at 8 PM tonight, Chris over at Gross Models, he has his Warhamster Sunday stream, an hour and a half, where he's working on currently his Mega Knobs. He's working on his Orc Mega Knobs. So do go and join him. I'll be trying, if I can, I'll join the chat. I'm usually having my tea there around about that time, but I'll see if I can. We'll join in. But do go and watch Chris, 8 PM tonight on Chris's channel, Gross Models, his name, they click on his name. Indeed, might be 2 hours. Ooh, you would never do 2 hours. The internet would break. Or less. There you go. That's more like it. Don't forget, of course, now, I normally say don't forget, of course, tomorrow it's eModels Monday with me, Chris and Ted. However, it is a bank holiday tomorrow, I think. And we'd forgotten this. So I don't know if we're doing an eModel stream tomorrow or not. I'm not sure. I'm sure if we'll make sure the guys at eModels will post up on their page. I don't know if we're doing an eModel stream or not. We kind of all forgot it's a bank holiday tomorrow. We don't traditionally do. It isn't a bank holiday. My computer told me it was a bank holiday tomorrow. 5th of August? Maybe it's not then. Okay, might not be. Who cares? I'm sure my computer told me it was a bank holiday. Weird. Only a holiday in Scotland. That's a place. They've got banks. In that case, assuming it's not a bank holiday, why is my computer giving me a thing when I'm logging in saying bank holiday in somewhere? I don't know. In that case, we'll see you tomorrow on the eModel stream. There you go. I am the second episode of Painting That Puppy is now up on Patreon for Patreon subscribers. Early access. Don't panic if you're not a patron. This will release for everybody else, I think Wednesday or Thursday. It's just in early access for a week. If you are a patron, it's up now for you to watch without any adverts. So go and watch episode 2 where I get that done and finished. You'll see how I inked it. For everybody else, it'll be up later in the week. I will be cracking on again from tomorrow with the Sazabi. I've got to get the assembly parts finished, the pre-build, before I start the painting. So that's next week's work, is going to be working on the Sazabi. Again, that is a Patreon exclusive build, the Sazabi, but I will be, if I can, doing a little 5-minute sort of video for non-patrons saying, hey, here's where we're up to. There you go. I don't know yet. I've got to try and pad out 5 minutes of here it is. I don't know what it is. Anyway. So yes, if you're on Patreon, if you're our patron, go and watch. It's up for all patrons in early access. If not, go on Patreon, become a patron. Patreon.com/modelmakingcrew. You can help this channel out and support it. You can pay from as little as $1 a month, and you can get access to all early access stuff. And there's loads of other benefits. So go and have a look. Don't forget, if you'd like to support this channel aside from Patreon, if you don't want to support me literally directly by supporting me on Patreon, which is where my income is made, I do this for a living. Don't forget. You can massively help this channel if you're buying any tabletop stuff, not just Warhammer. It could be Malifaux, it could be Conflict 47, it could be they do Pokemon, they do Magic the Gathering, they do Dungeons and Dragons, they do basically anything tabletop, even Catan. Anything tabletop, go to Goblin Gaming. There's a link in the description below this video. It's my affiliate link. Not only can you save 20% off RRP on Games Workshop, Malifaux and Conflict 47 and massive savings on pretty much everything else, you also will be supporting this channel by using that link, because I make a little bit of income every time you order using that link. So if you need to go and get some tabletop gaming stuff, not just Warhammer, use that link below and go from that link. It will help me out massively, and every time you order I get a little bit of commission from that, so it does help this channel out massively and you're saving yourself some money. Don't forget, I've also added a new t-shirt to the merch store. Again, link in the description below the video. A new 2 times more shine t-shirt and hoodie combination is now available in the Guru Hut merch store. I will be adding more stuff over time. Just been having some technical difficulties with it. And I do, of course, have an Amazon affiliate link as well, an Amazon store. If you need to pick some stuff from Amazon and you're in the UK, before you go and just order stuff, click on the link in the video below or use the link down there. That's similar to the Goblin Games. I just make a little bit of income when you use that link. So go and have a look at that if you need to get stuff from Amazon. But that's going to do us. So thank you very much. Let's have a look. I don't think you'll have a problem waffling for 5 minutes. Shut up. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I shall go and try and figure out what I'm going to have for my tea. I shall see you all, obviously, it would seem tomorrow now on the Models show. And then hopefully throughout the course of the week, I'll see my patrons for some of these Sazabi stuff. But until then, I shall just say thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Go make something awesome like this. Go be awesome. You there. Yes, you there. I'm looking at you with my finger. My finger of looking. And I shall say, until next time, adios amoebas. Wow, that didn't fade in and fade out very well, did it? Should we try that again? I shall say, adios amoebas. Wait. I literally have no idea what's happening right now. Right, I shall go now. I shall put on the right. I'm gonna press the button. Ready?